And finally, all right, let me get the chat room over. There we are. All right, welcome in. Oh, boy. Already got to clear the throat. That's better. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. I know. I was supposed to do a show on Friday, and I do apologize. Come on, the chat room is thin. Maddie's here first. Look at that. Maddie says, hey, chat. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Yeah, that's from me, too. Well, let me get everything set here before we get rolling. Came running in here. All right, I don't think we need to be celebrating Festivus anymore, right? So let's remove that. Welcome in to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, Pugs and Company, if you will. You can like, follow, subscribe on any of our socials. You can find it at either Pugs Moran or Pugs and Company. But hey, I suggest you do both. Why not? Follow me on all platforms, Pugs Moran or Pugs and Company. Come on, chat room. I know it's a weird week. This is a weird week. Hi, Adam. Adam, I'm so sorry. Adam and I were texting on Saturday night, and I think I left him hanging because I got into a movie with my kid, and I went in the other room, and the phone was charging in the other room. But I thought we were done, but it was good hearing from you. I thought we were, I don't know. Then I went back, and I'm like, oh, shit. He sent another text. Text etiquette is something that people of my generation are kind of fumbling our way through. It's children, the millennials, and, even the next generation. They have really solidified what the rules of texting and text etiquette is. We Gen Xers, older millennials, we're just following along. Who else do we got? Come on, man. We've got a really low chat room here. And I know for a fact that this is a bad week because everybody's out of their habits and things are different. And I know things are different for me because my kid's in the other room. Just, I don't know, doing what teenagers do, just watching YouTube and all that stuff. How was Christmas? Did you guys all have a good Christmas? I hope so. We'll get into that. We'll get into all that stuff. We got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot of stuff. So let me first tell you that, hi, welcome to the Rant. I'm Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios North. We do this show every day around about noon. Some days I tell you we're going to do a show, and then we end up not doing a show, like Friday. I'm sorry. I know, I said, we're definitely doing a show on Friday, but I got my kid on Saturday morning, and I had a whole bunch of stuff that I had to do. Like, remember I was complaining about tires? My tires were jacked on my car, the front ones. I'm like, oh, God, snow's going to come. I got to get these tires. So I had to get tires. I had car work and all that stuff on Friday. Guess what? The deal is now, though. Now I got a new problem with the car. It's always something. My poor kid, he's sitting in the passenger seat listening to me rant about it's always something. And by the way, just so you know, nothing is ever going to go wrong with your car that's going to cost less than $400. It's always going to be $400 no matter what it is. That's me. That's me, Dad, doing the rant. No wonder he wears headphones, right? No wonder he's just always in headphones in his... My wiper juice, that's what I'll call it. My wiper juice don't work. Yeah, I know. Shut up. I know about cars. It's full. I actually stopped and got a new thing of, wiper fluid and filled it up. Now, the problem is that when you live up here in the great frozen north, where I'm doing these shows from here, that's right. We've moved from the Texas studios for a period of time. We're up here in the Kelly Moore Studios North, and it's cold. It's much colder than it is in Texas. Even though yesterday it was 63 degrees. That's right. It was 63 degrees. I'll tell you about the last week of weather here in Chicago. A week ago, we had a foot of snow on the ground. Then it got to 60. Then we had melted snow, which caused nothing but mud and dirt and just gross shit over the weekend. It was such a gross fucking weekend in Chicago because it didn't know what the weather was supposed to be. All the big bodies of water are cold because it's freaking winter. But then the air comes in, and the air is like, it's 60. So it was just fog. Everything was foggy all weekend. And like I said, yesterday was 63 degrees. You could see the grass. Went to sleep last night, woke up. It's currently, let's see what it currently is here. It's currently 21 degrees, and there's snow on the ground again. You got snow. It snowed overnight. The temperature dropped by like 40 degrees overnight. It's freezing. So when that happens, a lot of times your wipers, your wiper juice, as I like to call it, your wiper juice to clean your windshield, sometimes that freezes. And so sometimes you just got to warm it up a little, use finger or whatever, you can chip the ice away from it. That's why the wiper juice doesn't come out. So I did all the stuff I'm supposed to do. I've refilled it and the motor works. You pull the thing back and it goes, and it's supposed to go all over your windshield. Yeah, that ain't happening. Nothing's fucking coming out. The thing is, I don't know, there's got to be something jammed in the line. It's got to be something in the line, right? Like, I don't know what it could be. I don't know, but whatever. So is life. So the reason that's a problem today is because now we got new snow and it was all mud. Remember, everything melted and it became muddy and gross. So underneath, we've got a base of mud and dirt and soot and gross. And then a new couple of inches of snow fell last night. So when you're driving, all the cars are kicking everything up and they're kicking up all the shit that's underneath. So every windshield is muddy and oh God. I'm like a hillbilly. I'm pulling over and I'm like pouring windshield over it and rubbing it down. It'll only be a problem. This kind of situation with a car, you don't have to fix it right away. It'll only be a problem on days like this. On days like this where it's fucking sloppy and messy and I need to be able to clean my windshield and I'm not going to be able to. So these are my problems. Welcome to the show. Hi, April. April's here. Who else just popped in the chat room? We've got more people. We got more listening. Why aren't you in the chat room? Is it cold in Texas, guys? April says, I'm freezing in Texas, but also not dressed for the wind. Yeah, it's cold here. It's cold. I'm looking at me. I'm wearing a turtleneck with a t-shirt over it, with a big bulky sweater, and then I got my big giant winter coat. We went to the Bulls game on Saturday night. My son and I. He came into town, took the train from Grandma St. Louis to Grandma Chicago. He's got two grandmas. He's got Grandma St. Louis and Grandma Chicago. One of those grandmas lives in a really dangerous city. I'll tell you which one later today as we go through the list of America's most dangerous and least dangerous cities. That's right. The 2025 list was released. So we'll go through that. We'll find out which one of my son's grandmas live in the more dangerous community. Is it Grandma St. Louis or is it Grandma Chicago? I think we know the answer to that because we all watch Fox News. Anyway, we'll do that list. So we go to the Bulls game on Saturday night. And like I said, this weekend, it was kind of nice. So I decided that I would do the scenic route, right? We get there early. You go to look, hey, let me just tell you something. If you've ever been in the United Center, it's the largest NBA arena. I think it's the nicest NBA arena. Although, idiots at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn would be like, no, ours is the nicest. We're like, nah, fuck you. Yours is a couple of years newer, but ours is bigger and cooler anyway. So it was my son's first trip to the United Center. He'd never been there. He'd been to the American Airlines Center. That's a really nice place too. They did such a nice job with that American Airlines Center. Too bad they're going to tear it down now. They're going to tear it down. Ready for a new one. I'm like, this one's only 20 years old or something. I don't know, right? It's fairly new, the American Airlines Center. And why is it fairly new? Because I grew up in a city that had 100-year-old plus stadiums and ain't nobody was talking about tearing them down. Hell, Wrigley is still there. Soldier Field is still there. Although we're talking about tearing down Soldier Field. Anyway, so we go to the American Airlines Center. And like I said, it was Saturday night, so it was like 50. Remember, it was going to be 60 the next day? I told you Sunday was like in the 60s. So yeah, Saturday was like in the 50s, and we had fog, and I decided to take the scenic route to the stadium, not the direct route. I took the scenic route because I got a kid in the car, and let's show him some things. So we went up Lakeshore Drive, the nice, pretty, all the lights, and look, it's Soldier Field, and, all of that stuff. Couldn't see a damn thing. Couldn't see it. It was all fog. You literally turned to your right and looked to the lake, and it was just a big wall of white. That's all you could see. The buildings, you couldn't see any buildings over the 15th floor. So we got all of these beautiful, lit up, gigantic 100-story plus skyscrapers. Can't see anything. I'm pointing shit out to my kid that he can't see. I'm like, see, if you could see through the fog, that's the bean. And he's like, yeah, great. So I played tour guide. It was awful. So we went to the Bulls game and we got there early. Oh, here's another thing. You guys got teenagers? You ready for this? I love my teenager. And I got a good one. Look, if we're being fair about this, I mean, The police ain't never come to the house, right? He never been suspended. He gets good grades. He seems to be popular among his classmates. He's an athlete. He's good. He's good. But he's still a teenager. Teenagers are assholes. I don't know why he's in the other room. Teenagers are the worst. Apparently, there is nothing that I can do that isn't like so lame and uncool. I'm always like the uncool guy because teenagers are cool. You know that. They're the epicenter of cool. Whatever, dude. Whatever. And here's the problem. He's only like that with me. He's like Mr. Charming running for office with everybody else. But with me, it's like, okay. So we get there early, right? Because Dad's got all of these big dreams. Dad's got dreams. We're going to do pictures. Oh, my God. These pictures, I'll be looking at them in 40 years. And I'll go, remember the time we went to the game? So the big thing that you want when you go to the United Center is you want to get a picture of your kid in front of the Jordan statue. It's this incredibly beautiful work of art. I mean, look, we know we've all seen statues, but this Jordan statue at the United Center is really cool. And it's really big. And it used to be outside, but it became like the tourist spot. It became the place where everybody was meeting. Meet you at the Jordan statue, right? That's how when you meet people at the game, where you want to meet. We'll meet at the Jordan statue at 7:00, right? Something like that. So it used to be outside, but then they just built an entire gigantic addition onto the arena that encompasses, the center of this giant addition is where the Jordan statue is. So we walk in and I'm like, let's get a picture. And he's like, okay. We walk in and it's crowded. There's like probably 1,000 people with their kids all getting the pictures in front of the Jordan statue. And you got to maneuver just right because you want the proper angle. You don't want the back of it. You don't want Jordan's ass. You want to get the kid standing in front of Jordan like that. So, there were a lot of people and, Dad's got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive in these moments. You got my kid first, that whole thing while still maintaining certain rules of civility. But, you got to be aggressive. And apparently I told my kid, I turned him around. I grabbed his shoulders. I go, turn here. And I moved back like 3 steps and I pulled the camera up to get a quick picture. And he just made the worst face. And he rolled his eyes and he turned his back. And because I'm not good in these moments, I totally overreacted. And I went, you know what? Fuck it. No pictures. And I put my phone in my pocket, went to the bathroom, calmed down. And then we went and watched the game. But no pictures. No pictures. Because apparently wanting to take a picture of your kid makes you a dork. And I felt this big. And I don't have the pictures, but that's okay. That's okay. We went, we enjoyed the game. We had great seats. Thanks to my friend Robbie Bowen at Odyssey Dallas or Chicago. Used to be Odyssey Dallas. Now he's Odyssey Chicago. Thank you. Went to the game. We had great seats, 100 section right there on the floor. And we watched the Bulls. The Bulls were on a 5 or 6 game winning streak. So we were very excited. It was the statement game versus the Milwaukee Bucks, which is the Bulls and the Bucks are big rivals because they're so close. It's like they don't even fly to each other's arenas. They get in a bus. They ride like they're high school kids. Like when the Bulls play in Milwaukee, they get in a bus and they go on a 45-minute bus ride. Same with the Bucks. Anyway, it's a big rivalry. It was a statement game. We had just won 6 in a row. The Bulls were feeling good after a really bad streak where they were very injured, but we're getting healthy. They won 6 in a row, balling out, looking great. Cardiac Bulls, just like the Bears. They're always down for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth, they seem to pull it out. So we were excited. Yeah, they fucking lost. Yeah, they lost. They played as flat as I've seen them play in 2 weeks. Because I'm there with my kid. I'm like, this is going to be great. We're on a winning streak. We're turning it around. Billy's got these guys playing. Billy Donovan, he's the coach. Anyway, that wasn't good. It was a loss, but that's okay. We had a great time. We had fun. And then we just drove around. We went to, there's a place here in Chicago called the Wiener Circle, which is a hot dog joint and it's very famous and it's very locally connected and they're involved in a lot of things and they do a lot of really cool organic promotions through social media and stuff. You may have heard like a couple weeks ago, they gave free hot dogs to the entire city. Anyway, so we decided we'll go to the Bulls game and then we'll go to the Wiener Circle. Now, again, remember, it is thick London fog. So just driving around is difficult because you can't see anything. And it's Saturday night in downtown Chicago. So, I mean, it's bumper to bumper. There's thousands of people walking. We're going through the theater district and there's shows letting out and it was a nightmare. Can't see anything. So we get all the way to the Wiener Circle. And we walk in and I say to him, look, it's too crowded in here. We're going to have to eat in the car. And so he turns to me and he goes, well, I'm just going to save mine. I'll eat mine later. And I go, wait, what? Wait, we drove all this way. We're going to get a hot dog and you're going to eat it like 2 hours later when we get home? And he goes, I'm not hungry. I went, okay. And he's like, you can get something. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not hungry either. So we went all the way there. We walked into the line. We stood there. We walked in and then we went, okay, I guess we'll go when we're hungry. So that was weird, but not so fun fact. I've never shared this. I've never shared this. But my kid has some stomach issues that have developed over the last few months. He's had some issues putting on weight and he's losing weight and all that. So he's in treatment. He's being medicated and all that stuff. It's nothing serious. I mean, it's a thing, but like we're not. It's not fatal or anything, you know what I mean? It's just, but it's a thing. It's a disease, and I won't say what it is, but he's been diagnosed with it. So his appetite is not what it once was, and I got mad at him for not being hungry for a hot dog at 2:00 or like midnight, and I felt bad about that because that's what we dads do. I'm like, oh shit, you know what? If the kid honestly has like a little stomach ache or something, I can't. Why? Because I want the memory. See, that's what we do. When we have these experiences with people, we build up what we want the memory to eventually be. Or maybe not we, but I do this. We see it unfolding in a certain way, right? And that's because I'm a control freak. I want the memory to be exactly the way I planned it. And when it doesn't go that way, you get frustrated. Other than that, we've been having a great time. My kid, we watched the Bears game last night. Bears 49ers. What a game that was, huh? We're good with it. Yeah, we lost. But we lost in the most awesome Chicago Bears way. It was like, I'll tell you, it was funny because the Bears this season have been a bit of a miracle team, right? Let's not pretend like they're the Patriots from, the mid 2000s or whatever. They've been a miracle team. They're a young team. They've got a great look. The future looks bright. This season's been a wonderful, wonderful surprise for us. I mean, I think I had them sub 500 this year. I thought we're going to need one more year. These guys are never going to be able to figure out Ben Johnson's offense. We're going to need 2 years at least. So we're ahead of schedule. But the mentality with us Bears fans is, yeah, we're ahead of schedule, but you know who else was ahead of schedule? The Washington Commanders were way ahead of schedule last year. The Texans were way ahead of schedule a couple of years ago. So stop with the we're ahead of schedule bullshit and start with the we can beat any motherfucking team in this league on any particular game. We might not win, but we can win. And that's something that every team has to have in their head. Don't feel outclassed by anybody. San Francisco 49ers are one of the best teams in football. That team, did you see that offense? Did you see that well-honed Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan offense? Fantastic. It's fantastic. And our defense kind of blows. But it was fantastic. And we hung with them, man. We hung with them until the last play. Dude, that's the 7th come-from-behind win of the year if that ball is thrown 1 inch higher off the ground. That's a touchdown. Bears win. Caleb does it again. Iceman is back. Look, Chicago Bear fans are very happy with what happened yesterday. We didn't need that. We didn't need the win. We didn't need it. We don't think we're not going to be the number one, right? We need somebody else to lose for us to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. We'll be fine with the number 2 seed in the NFC. Although that presents its own problems because right now, number 2 in the NFC will play number 7 in the NFC, and number 7 in the NFC is the Green Bay Packers, and I just do not, as a Chicago Bear fans, want to fucking play the Packers for a 3rd time. I don't. It's the worst, man. It's the worst. You want to know why? There have been a couple of situations, a couple of times in my life when the Chicago Bears have played the Green Bay Packers 3 times. The 3rd time is almost always in the postseason, and we've never won that one. The most soul-crushing one came about 15 years ago, I think, where the Bears beat the Packers 2 times in the regular season, and we thought we owned them, and then guess what? We met them in the NFC Championship, and they fucking won. That was horrible. It's like, how do we beat them twice in the regular season, and then they come into Soldier Field in the NFC Championship game, and they kick our ass? Life ain't fair. But that was our weekend. Let's see here. April says rough weekend for Chicago sports. Not really, man. This town is totally okay with the Bears game last night. We expected that we were going to lose this game. We coming up, they're exhausted. They've been coming off crazy wins. They got to go all the way out to San Francisco. They're playing a good team. I wanted Caleb to get 300 yards. He got 300 yards. I wanted it to be competitive. It was competitive. Came down to the last throw of the game. If my team can be in it on the last throw of the game, dude, sign me up for that. Sign any fan of a team up for that. If you've got a team that can be in it on the last play, we'll take that all the time. So not a rough weekend. We're all good with it. We're all fine. The question now for us Bears fans, and I guess it's more for the coaching staff, is how do you approach the final game of the season? The final game of the season is next week at Soldier Field against the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are eliminated. We don't have to worry about that. But this is a special game because it's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson came from the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions apparently suck now because he's no longer their offensive coordinator. He's our head coach. The first time Ben Johnson played the Detroit Lions this year, they were ready for him. 52. They hung 52 points on the Bears. They humiliated their old coach. In the time since that game, that was the game that woke the Bears up. The Bears went on their run after that game. After getting absolutely waxed by Ben's former team, the Detroit Lions, they went on a run. It's like that game did something to them. So the final game of the season is the rematch at Soldier Field. The question becomes, do you rest your players? We already won the North. We've already got our position pretty much solidified. Do you play your players or do you rest your players? And then the next week when you go into the playoffs, you got players who have been off a week and yeah, they're rested, but also they're rusty. And I don't know. I was thinking I would have rested people yesterday. I think I would have gone with I would have gone with Tyson Bagent. I'd have gone with a smaller team, a lesser team, backups, rest your old stars, your Joe Toonies. Don't make them go out there and grind it out against the 49ers. I would have taken that loss, and I would have taken that loss with a rest. If the idea was we go into next week against the Lions, like the playoffs start now, let's go. Let's crank it up. Let's use the Lions as practice for the next week. That's where I'm at. Hi, Billy. Billy Falk is here. Did you have a good Christmas, Billy? I hope you did. I hope you all had a good Christmas. I hope April had a good Christmas. I hope Taronda's there. I hope she had a good Christmas. We had a good Christmas. Well, I didn't do anything on Christmas, because my kid didn't come till 2 days later. So Christmas was on Saturday. Oh, also breaking news. We got off the train and I said to my kid, I go, are you hungry? And we were driving around Joliet, Illinois a little bit. Chicago's Fort Worth if it tried harder. Unfortunately, Chicago's Fort Worth is Milwaukee. Or fortunately, Milwaukee's pretty cool. But Joliet, Illinois could very well be Chicago's Fort Worth. If it just tried harder, it's not trying. So we drove around a little bit, and I'm like, you hungry? And he's like, yeah, I could eat. And we passed a White Castle. Now, he didn't have White Castle in Texas. So he's like, I'm like, you want White Castle? And he's like, yeah, let's do White Castle. So we get White Castle. He eats his, I ordered for him. Maybe I ordered wrong. I don't know. I got him my order, which is 3 double cheeseburgers and a side of onion rings. So I got him that. That's like the basic White Castle order for me. And then like a day later, we're driving past another White Castle and he looks at it and he goes, gotta be honest, Dad, kind of mid. I go, what? I go, what? He goes, yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I go, okay, well, I guess it's an acquired taste. It is definitely different. But he's had White Castle before, and he said he liked it before. But this time, some people, the steamed wet bun. Chicago's big on wet bread. Chicago's big on wet bread with our beef sandwiches and even our White Castles. Steamed a little bit wet. I don't know. All right, let's talk about what we're going to get into today because we got a lot of stuff that we got to talk about. Again, this is Talk Radio for Normal People. Hi, Goat. I see ya. Trump and Zelensky, Trump and the war criminal, they're all meeting. The war criminal, of course, being Netanyahu. Trump and Zelensky met yesterday. We'll just mention it because, we don't do politics because I don't give a fuck how you voted and you shouldn't give a fuck how I voted. You should be able to tell what I support by the way we talk conversationally through our discourse. You should be able to figure it out. But why do we have to walk around here going, if you voted the other way, you're awful? I saw a tweet that was trending the other day, or trending. Well, I don't know. It was from a bot account, so it had 20,000 retweets. It was a tweet that basically said, when you find out that somebody is MAGA, do you lose all respect for them? I'm like, this is no way back. This is not how we get back, you fucking divisive troublemakers. Obviously, this is a leftist divisive troublemaker. Typically, the divisive troublemaking comes from MAGA. It really does. So maybe turnabout is fair play, fire with fire. I don't know, whatever. But I saw this and I'm like, fuck, is this where we are? No, I don't lose all respect for people once you find out they're MAGA. You know why? Because you can have a relationship with somebody. You can meet somebody for the first time at a bar, or you can meet somebody at a dinner. Hey, this is my friend Joe. You can talk. You can connect on all kinds of things. And you can come away from that going, you know what? Joe's a good guy. And then you learn how they voted, and you're supposed to be, forget all that. That's a sickness. That is a sickness. That is not, look, I don't believe in this whole Trump derangement system. I hate the guy. I think the guy's an absolute clown. I ain't deranged. I just have eyes. I just pay attention. The guy's a con man. The guy's a grifter. The guy is just filling his pockets, and he's going to escape in his free jet from the Qatari criminals to some island nation where he'll live in exile with $100 billion. That's what's happening. We can all fucking see it. And people are like, no, he's friends with Jesus. Okay, dummy, move along. Anyway, we are going to get into some things today that I wanted to go through because they're funny. It's a list of all the scandals of 2025. And pretty much it's been dominated by Trump administration scandals. So we'll go through that and I'll tell you which ones are absolute nonsense, because there are a lot of nonsense ones. But there's also a bunch that aren't nonsense. So we'll go through that list. I told you we're going to go through the cities. We're going to talk about cities and safe cities and where can you go and where do you think is dangerous and what is actually dangerous and crime stats and all that good stuff. We'll do that. We've also got some news about the January 6th bomber. Remember, we caught that guy a couple weeks ago. He planted bombs outside the Republican and Democratic national offices on the early morning, I suppose, of January 6th, because he did it before the craziness started. Oh, sorry. There was no craziness. Yeah, I didn't see what I saw. Whatever. Anyway, he's talking and he's giving his side of things. So we're going to finally find out what was on the January 6th bomber's mind. Now that we know it's not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Eric Kirk. I got to get into this because it's bugging me. The Eric Kirk, Cabot Phillips stuff is, they're not really hiding it at this point. So we'll tell you about that. Of course, Erica Kirk, the world's most inappropriate widow. But, what do I know? I was just raised by a widow. We're also going to talk about a situation that I did not know about. And as a Gen Xer who at one point in my life had one of these T-shirts, I had no idea that I was a Nazi. Didn't know it. Didn't know that just simply being a fan of the band Joy Division made you a Nazi. Didn't know. I know a lot about Ian Curtis. I've read his biography. I think he's a fascinating writer. He's a tremendous poet. He died in 1980. I think I know quite a bit about Ian Curtis, his battles with depression and epilepsy and all of that stuff. I know quite a bit about Ian Curtis, and I have never before heard him called a Nazi. Now, we'll get into why people are saying Joy Division is a Nazi. But if you wear a Joy Division T-shirt, you're a Nazi. Or if you support Joy Division, you're a Nazi. And I'm just wondering, does this rule apply also to New Order? Because New Order is Joy Division. New Order is just Joy Division with a different name. Ian Curtis died and everybody just changed the name. I don't know. So we'll get into that. Nonsense. Being told what we're supposed to think when we see it. Joy Division should represent its music, its art. It should represent to the individual whatever the fuck they want it to. And if I want to go back and wear that 20-year-old Joy Division T-shirt that I used to have, I should be able to without a bunch of blue-haired lesbian libtards going, "You're a Nazi!" I'm like, listen to the fucking music, you dumb bitch. What are you talking about? Hey, we'll get into that. Yeah, I'm a little bit crusty. A little bit crusty today. That'll make for a good show. You know, at least I think it makes for a good show when I'm, a little bit. What else? Oh, yeah. We got to do this. Okay, so it's coming to the end of the year. We've had a lot of celebrity deaths. We got to get up to speed with how many celebrity death trilogies have we had this year. We've got some recent ones over the past few. So we're going to see, do we have, like, what? It's 2 days, right? Until the end of the year. It's 2 days until New Year's Eve. How many more celebrities will die in 2025 before New Year's Eve? We'll do that. We'll get you all caught up on the death trilogies and where we're at. And then we got a bunch of videos we'll watch. We got a cool. We'll watch, have you seen the clip for the new Madden movie? The new John Madden movie. Stars Nicolas Cage and Christian Bale. Christian Bale plays Al Davis. Nicolas Cage as John Madden. All right, we're going to have to check that out. All right, we'll look at that. And we got a whole bunch of other stuff. Whatever the hell it is you guys want to talk about if you jump in. Let's see here. Let's say hi to the chat room here for a minute. And I'm having mic issues. I don't know where I should place my mic. I don't know that I like. See, it's turning on its own. The cord is. I don't know that I like the mic being seen. I like it down here like this, but it's not high enough. It's not high enough up here. Well, maybe this will work. I don't know. Yeah, so the Joy Division thing. Apparently the Prime Minister of Australia got off a plane wearing a Joy Division shirt, and everybody in Australia, at least the irritating libtards, all those people in Australia. And yeah, see, that's libtards are a real thing. They're obnoxious, and we can all agree that they're irritating as fuck. That doesn't mean that MAGA assholes aren't a real thing. It does not mean that. No, both can exist at the same time. And it's for the rest of us in the middle to try and figure out what we're supposed to be doing here. Hi, Chuckles. Chuckles Nelson showing up. The GOAT is here. Oh, no. Is the GOAT having problems? Oh, man. The GOAT seems to be having what he's terming bubble guts. I like that. I like bubble guts. Don't know that I've ever heard that expression before. Would you get some bad Christmas ham or something? I guess that would have run through you by now. Well, I'll tell you what, GOAT. I want you to feel better. I don't know what I could tell you for bubble gut. My bubble gut. Bubble gut. My grandma would prescribe saltines in a warm can of 7-Up. That was if you were sick. Here, have some saltines in some warm 7-Up. Can I have a cold? No, it's got to be warm. Why does it got to be warm, Grandma? And it's some bullshit thing she learned in 1930. That's not true. Hope you feel better there, GOAT. Hope you feel better. Amy, did we already do Amy? I think we did. Amy said, Joy Division is great. Have known name origin for a long time. Doesn't make them Nazis. No, and that's what we're going to explain. Now, Joy Division's not even a real... See, people get it wrong. People are like, oh, no, the Joy Division was a nickname for a group of Nazis in the concentration camp that would pick out the hottest Jewish chicks and then just gangbang them. That's what the Joy Division was. It was a real thing. No, it wasn't. But people think it's a real thing because it was a part of a novel about a concentration camp. It was a novel. It comes from a novel. You know what a novel is? A novel means fiction. So maybe, but the accounting of where the name Joy Division comes from, the term Joy Division was created by a novelist, not by a bunch of Nazis who were, and we don't even know if that's true. Wouldn't put it past them. Far be it for me to sit here and defend Nazis. They would never do that. But the thing is, it's not a documented piece of history. Joy Division did not name themselves after a documented piece of history. They named themselves after a book, a novel about the experiences of a fictional character in a concentration camp. That's where the name Joy Division comes from. And yes, their first album did have a picture of a little Hitler Youth kid but there's context to it. And we used to do nuance back then. We used to understand context in art and nuance in art and all of that stuff. So we'll explain all of that. Anyway, Maddie is reminding you something that we all need to be better about, and that is telling you that you need to hit that like button. I love you, Maddie. It feels so cringy saying it, but I know it's what we got to do. Smash that like button. All that dumb shit. Who else we got? Anybody I haven't said hello to that's making themselves known in the chat room? We do have a fun little poppin' chat room. We encourage all of you to get involved. Some of you, I see there are more people listening than there are in the chat room. A lot more. So, get involved. Come on. I appreciate you listening, but I think this might be an even, greater, a more enhanced experience, if you will, if you just simply get involved. It's conversation. All right, let's get started. Here we go. We'll start the show here. We got to get out. We can't do a crazy long show today. We're meeting grandma and my stepdad. You're not my real dad. We're meeting them for pizza at a bar they hang out at. They have a good bar, a good pizza bar. Cousins on Oak Park Avenue in Tinley is good pizza. Cousins got good pizza, but they hang out at this bar. So we're gonna do the show. We're gonna record, and then we're gonna go head down to grandma's house, and we're gonna go get some free pizza from grandma and Eddie. It'll be good. Then I don't know what. We got a football game. What we got? We got Falcons. Who the Falcons playing? Falcons playing the Seahawks or the Rams. They're playing one of the teams in the West. I was supposed to be interested in it, but I'm really not. Is it possible to be a little footballed out? I feel a little footballed out. And let me just state this, okay? Because there's a lot of you out there, and you get no credit for this. There are a lot of you women and gay men who don't like football to the extent that we, dudes like our football, right? It's not, and I completely understand that for you folks, you've been great sports the last 7 days. Every TV's got a football game on it. You can't find anywhere to watch your stories or whatever, your true crime shows on ID, whatever. I don't know. ID, that's a channel, right? That has a whole bunch of true crime. Whatever you women like to watch. I know the TVs have probably all been occupied with stupid football games that you can't believe that these people are actually interested in, but nonstop football ends tonight, though. I think it ends tonight, and then you're going to have to put up with it because of a lot of college games. You're getting a lot of college games coming up for you. But how about that? How about go up to your mom? How about go up to your wife? How about go up to your whoever it is that you live with that has had to put up with you being gone and in front of a TV for the last week? Maybe you go up and say, hey, thanks. I know I've been kind of in my bag, but... And also, as Maddie says, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Pizza is always awesome, Al. Pizza is always awesome. We haven't had pizza yet. My son... because he spent a week at 4 days or whatever there in St. Louis, and his mama grew up in St. Louis, and whenever his mama gets home to St. Louis, she likes to go to some of her favorite St. Louis food places, one of which is a place called Emo's Pizza. IMOS, legend in the St. Louis and Southern Illinois area. Emo's Pizza is really good. I got to give it credit. I used to turn my nose up at it. I used to be like, really? St. Louis style pizza? And then I had it, and it's exactly like Chicago Tavern style pizza. They just use a different kind of cheese called Provel. And I got to say, it's pretty good cheese. I kind of like it. So he had pizza. And so we haven't had pizza yet. He's been here since Saturday. You would think, Chicago, you had pizza first. But nah, this will be the first, really good quality Chicago Tavern style pizza that he's gotten. He'll get that tonight. Oh, my God. What else? Tomorrow, no show tomorrow. Got to tell you guys this. No show tomorrow. I'm sorry. No show tomorrow, but we will certainly be doing a show on Wednesday. But no show tomorrow. We got big plans. We're going shopping. We're going downtown. We're going to run around. We're going to visit my buddy Mitch. He runs the Score Sports Radio, which is like a big sports station here. So we're going to run down there. We're going to hang out with Mitch, and we're going to go shopping. He's going to spend all of his Christmas money. He's probably going to spend all of his Christmas money on one stupid jersey. He'll probably buy like a $400 jersey, get one thing. And then we'll be waiting. They'll want something else. And they'll look at me and he's like, well, can I get this too? I'm like, do you have money for it? And he'll be like, no. And I'll be like, well, neither do I. So let's go home. But no, he's got a pocket full of cash, as he said yesterday while we were walking through a Jewel food store. He said, this money's burning a hole in my pocket, Dad. I'm like, I get it. You're 16. That's what happens when you got money in your pocket at 16. You want to spend it. You're not thinking about mortgages or retirement at 16. And that's the right way to do it. All right. Also, because this show does run on your tips and your gratuities, we've done it for 4 years now, 4 or 5 years, heading into year 5. If you want to tip a little something, please help out the show. We are desperate for your support. Every little bit helps. You can either do the Venmo or the Cash App. Okay, let's see here. Let's get into the show. Starting out, December the 29th. Trump and Zelensky met yesterday. They met at the White House. I watched it. Trump came out. No, not at the White House. It was Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, they met at Mar-a-Lago. And it was cool because they had like all these Marines and stuff on the lake or lagoon or whatever it is in front of Mar-a-Lago. Like these big military boats. And then Zelensky pulls up. The door opens up. President Trump walks out of the big grand door at Mar-a-Lago and he greets Zelensky. Zelensky stands there looking very awkward, like, okay, is this going to go bad? Because they took press questions. And you know Zelensky was like, oh, Jesus, what is he going to say here? And he stayed stone-faced because you got to watch the other world leaders when Trump is interacting with the domestic press. I love to watch the reaction of that. And early on, like 9 months ago, they used to kind of react. Like Trump would say something shocking. Like I remember the president of Ireland was sitting next. It was St. Patrick's Day last year. And the president said something shitty to a reporter. And the president of Ireland winced like, oh, geez. They don't do that anymore. Now they just stone-faced because they know that their reaction will be used for political fodder, either on the right or the left. So they stand stone-faced. Zelensky stayed stone-faced when a reporter asked Trump a question. He goes, that's the dumbest fucking question ever. Or, words to that effect. He said something like that. And I'm like, boom, look at Zelensky. And Zelensky's just like, they didn't react. Didn't react at all. Which he, the last time he sat down for a press gaggle with Trump used it as an opportunity to fucking humiliate him like the asshole that he is. And, that's probably very, very front and center on Zelensky's radar. He's like, I'm not going to react to anything this time. I'm not going to try and fight back. If J.D. Vance starts being a dick, remember J.D. Vance started that whole thing. The fight that occurred in the White House with Zelensky and Trump, and it was J.D. Vance who started that shit. J.D. Vance was trying to be a baller, and he just came off like a fucking prick. Anyway, they met yesterday. The war is still going on. As a matter of fact, 91 drones were apparently sent to Putin's residence last night. So the war is still going on, Trump and Zelensky. Today at the White House, is it the White House or is it Mar-a-Lago? Trump is meeting with the war criminal. We're like a banana republic now. We're supposed to arrest this fucking guy. We're supposed to adhere to warrants put out by the world court. We're supposed to, again, what do I always tell you guys? Everything's a construct. the world court and the Hague and all that, very important. Oh my God, you get in trouble with them, you are cooked. You can't travel anywhere. You can't leave it. Well, Putin's flying around. He's got a warrant out for him. Netanyahu's got a warrant out. He's flying around. He's coming to the White House for fuck's sake. So we're not even, with the world court anymore. That's how far we've drifted from this world that we've cobbled together over the last 100 years of modern society. Anyway, that's all we need today. I don't want to get into any more of that, but Trump's meeting with a whole bunch of people, glad handing. I'm sure he's going to say something stupid and we'll all be fucking horrified by it, but whatever. So is life in 2025 heading into 2026. The January 6th bomber, I wanted to talk about this guy. Remember a couple of weeks ago, they caught this guy in Virginia. Was it a black dude? Is it a black dude? I don't remember. Do I think it's a black dude? Which is interesting, not because I'm a racist. It's interesting because I think it's good. It is good that, political, it's always a white guy is my point, okay? It's always a white guy in a John Deere hat who's just had enough. It's always that guy. I think this might be a black guy. I don't know. You guys look it up. Tell me in the chat room if I'm right or not. I don't see color. Suspect in January 6th bombing case confesses that he felt compelled to speak up. Felt compelled. He was compelled to speak up. Speak up for what, dude? So remember, this guy put a bomb outside the Dems and put a bomb outside the Republicans. So we didn't know. We're like, what is this guy? Which side is this guy on? Nah, he's a Trump guy. He's a fucking diehard Trump guy. Of course he is. Of course he is. He just doesn't like either party, and he thinks that Trump is like going to fix everything, and that's what he was doing. Here, I'll give it to you. He wanted to speak up for 2020 election deniers. The man charged with planting pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. the night before the January 6th Capitol riot waived his Miranda rights after his arrest and gave authorities a detailed confession explaining his motives. Now, this comes to us from the Washington Post, so some of you may choose not to believe it because it's not what you want to believe, right? You're probably, oh, it's all fake. That guy is obviously a lesbian from Northern California, and no, he's not. He's a fucking crazy person. And I'm sorry, normal MAGA people. And there are some normal MAGA people. I'm sorry. But you've got a bunch of crazy people in your ranks. You got a bunch of fucking mentally unstable weirdos who have seen your political movement as an opportunity to fuck everything up. That's what's happening. That's what this guy is. He's one of yours, okay? The left can claim whatever is the next tranny shooter out there to do something horrible, but this fucking guy is yours, okay? So let's stop parsing it. In just released, here we go. He's going to give us his motivation. We got quotes from him and everything. In just released court documents, Brian J. Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia, is he black? Hold on. Brian J. Cole, I got to figure this out. Chat room, let me know. No, nobody. Thanks, chat room. Appreciate you picking me up. So let me see if he's black. Brian J. Cole Jr. Let's see this guy. He's black, dude. Yeah, he's a nerdy black dude. He's got glasses. He looks like Raj from What's Happening. Not only does he look like Raj from What's Happening, he looks like who is he? He looks like one of the Bulls. Is it Jalen Smith? No. Is it? No. Who is it? Who does he look like? I don't know. Anyway, black guy with glasses. Good for him. Good for guys who look like a Raj from What's Happening, stepping up and getting involved in the political process. That's good. In just released court documents, Brian J. Cole recounted how he allegedly constructed and planted 2 improvised explosive devices outside the offices of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee, after first denying involvement. He said he didn't do it. Turns out now he's saying he did. He said he planted the bombs because he felt, quote, someone needed to speak up for those who believed the 2020 election was rigged. Well, dude, if you had just waited like 10 hours, you would have seen thousands of people speaking up. You, sir, were not needed with your stupid little bombs that didn't go off, you loser. In just released court documents, he said that he needed to speak up for those who believe the 2020 election was rigged. He also said he was upset people were being labeled fascists and Nazis. So you planted bombs? You say, what? You people are calling us fascists and Nazis? I'm not any of those things. I'm just a mad bomber. Oh, much better. Much better. You're a mad bomber. You're not a fascist. I'm sorry. We'll get it right next time, you fucking loser. He said he planted the bombs because he felt somebody needed to speak up for those who believe the 2020 elections were stolen. He was also upset at being labeled a fascist and Nazis simply for supporting President Trump. Cole then told agents in the FBI's Washington field office that he drove to D.C. on January 5th, 2021. See, this is actually kind of good because this is not like Trump hears this and he's like, oh, he's one of mine. He's not a libtard. Like that upsets Trump. You would think that this FBI that I believe is exclusively doing his bidding would not have, published this stuff like because he's a MAGA guy. It's a MAGA guy. You would think that the FBI, if they truly were as corrupt as I assumed they were, they would have sat on this or they would have come up with something else or whatever. So this is actually good. This actually shows me that the FBI is maybe, some people in the FBI are maybe still actual officers of the law. The defendant explained that I didn't agree with what people were doing, like just telling half the country that they were thems and theirs, and that they, see, he's got all kinds of problems with this, which we all do. We're all irritated by this shit, but it's not soul defining. It's not like going to spend the rest of my life in prison because I'm going to blow up a couple of buildings because of them, their pronouns. Says, I didn't think that was a good idea, so I went to the protest, he said. The report continues. All right, here we go. I'll just read this verbatim. The defendant has, quote, never really been an openly political person and does not discuss politics often with his family to avoid conflict. Let's do that sentence again. He's never really been an openly political person and does not discuss politics often with his family to avoid conflict. So he is political. So he knows that if he let his family know what is he, so he is, he got tired. He's a pussy. He's tired of arguing with people, doesn't want to fight with his family. He likes Thanksgiving dinner. He doesn't want to be banned. He's towing the line. The defendant has never really been an openly political person and does not discuss politics often with his family to avoid conflict. According to the defendant, Brian J. Cole Jr., no one knows my political views, including my family. The defendant stated that he does not align politically with his family members, and so he did not tell them that he was, quote, was going to a protest in support of Trump. All right, so his family isn't, so you're like, I'm not political, but everything that he says is like, oh, but you're a weird Trump guy. You're like a weird Trump. You're not political, but you're going to this thing because you love this guy who's a fucking politician. But I'm not political. A lot of you morons, you have no idea what's going on here. Just sit on the sidelines like the rest of us and wait for all this dust to settle. It'll be over soon, I promise you. We don't need to get involved. We don't need to be in our kitchens with YouTube videos of how to make explosive devices. We don't need to be doing this shit. Later in the interview, the defendant explained that after the 2020 election, when it first seemed like something was wrong to old Brian Cole Jr., seemed like something was wrong, and stuff started happening, he said. He began following the issues very closely on YouTube and Reddit. That's where he turned for his information. YouTube and Reddit led him right to building his own fucking bomb at his kitchen table and then putting him outside 2 office buildings in Washington. Stuff started happening. He began following issues closely on YouTube and Reddit and felt bewildered. In the defendant's view, if people feel that, something as important as voting in the federal election is being tampered with, is being relegated null and void, then, like someone needs to speak up, right? Question mark? That's him. That's this fucking, he's going to save us all, like, read that quote again. When it first seemed like something was happening and stuff started happening, he began following the issues closely on YouTube and Reddit and felt, quote, bewildered. In the defendant's view, quote, if people feel that, something as important as voting in the federal election is being tampered with, is being, like being, relegated null and void, then like, someone needs to speak up, right? That's a fucking quote. That's a quote from that guy. Jesus. The defendant felt that, quote, the people up top, including, quote, people on both sides, public figures, should not, quote, ignore people's grievances or call them conspiracy theorists, even though you've probably spent a bunch of months on fucking Reddit going down QAnon holes. But no, we can't call a dog, huh? No? Kind of falls into your whole them-there issue, doesn't it? We're just going to call you what you are. You were born a fucking lunatic, and we're going to call you a lunatic. The defendant felt that people up top, including people on both sides, public figures, should not ignore people's grievances or call them conspiracy theorists, bad people, Nazis, or fascists, he said. Instead, quote, if people feel that their votes are like, just being, thrown away, like, then, at the very least, someone should address it. That's our guy. That's our guy. That's our fucking brain trust who was going to fix everything for us. Imagine the delusion you have to be under to think that, this guy can't wake up, look at himself in the mirror and be like, I'm going to set it all right. That's crazy. That's delusion. He got himself involved. I don't know what he was thinking. Insane. Anyway, Brian J. Cole, we now know Brian J. Cole Jr. Got to get that J in there because there might be other Brian Cole Jr.'s out there who are totally innocent and don't need their name. So that's why you always get the middle name with people who do really fucked up shit. Like, it's not a coincidence. Like, it's like, why do all the serial killers go around with middle names? They don't. John Wayne Gacy never went around as John. Hi, I'm John Wayne Gacy. No, he was John Gacy. But they, because there might be another John Gacy out there. You start throwing that name all over the news, you got to do the middle name. That's why. Got to do the middle name. All right, there we have it. That's the story there. What else do we have? What else happened this weekend that we can talk about? What's happening today? Oh, I'm on the wrong page. So the Erica Kirk thing really took off over the last couple of days, really, right? Christmas, this is how we welcome Christmas, by deciding we're going to just beat the holy hell out of a widow for 4 days, which is what's been. Now, I told you last week, we first started talking about the weirdness of Erica Kirk last week. Erica Kirk's a weirdo. This is a whole weird situation going on here. She is a widow, and she's got a baby, and I don't know what she got. Nannies? What are nannies making sure the baby's okay with the death of their dad? Remember, I tell you people, stop worrying about the baby. Stop worrying about Charlie Kirk's baby. Charlie Kirk's baby is going to be raised by Erica and Cabot Phillips, and he is never going to know that Cabot Phillips isn't his real dad. That's right. Charlie Kirk's enemy from the Daily Wire is going to raise his child. That's wild. Because we told you about the situation that was going on there. Erica Kirk, before she dated Charlie, well, look, there is the Erica Kirk widow public image that we have. That woman doesn't drink alcohol, never dated anyone before Charlie. Interviews. She'll sit there in interviews and go, I didn't date before I met Charlie. It was when I met Charlie that it all changed for me. Like, she's doing with her big, giant, fucking grotesque cross. The crucifix is a cherished, important icon of Christianity. And these people are going around front and center, making sure that it's on camera so that people will see it and go, oh, that's a good person because they got a cross. They're obviously a good person. It's the same fucking thing that crooked politicians do when they wear the American flag pin. I will only vote for politicians who do not slut out our flag. You get these crazy fucking politicians and look at my flag. I'm going to say some really anti-American shit, but you're not going to hear it because I'm going to use big words, and you're going to see my flag, and you're going to be like, I don't care what he's saying. He's got a flag. I got a flag. The flag means that we love this country. No, knowing what this country is supposed to be about, understanding the motivations of the founding fathers, that's what being American is about, not fucking wearing a cross or a flag, not being a performative fucking American Christian, you full of shit, nonsense eating. I ran out of things to say there. I didn't have anything to cap that off with. So Erica Kirk, she dated. I know that she says she never dated. She dated a bunch of guys. She was on a dating reality show. She had a fucking Hinge account. Erica Kirk had a Hinge account, but I never dated anyone before I met. She was a hot girl from a privileged, well-connected political family in Arizona telling me she didn't date. We got clips of her from a reality show where she's going on multiple dates. And anyway, there is we know she was engaged before Charlie. Apparently to some dude, we showed his picture. They took their engagement photos and everything. Those were the pictures that we saw. And they're out there. Those pictures are all out there. And Erica Kirk is standing in front of concert-sized crowds going, I was a virgin until Charlie. And all of these people can just Google it and see these pictures. But see, it's a cult. So these people They will see the pictures. They will hear the facts. They will watch a clip from a fucking reality show from 7 years ago or whatever. They'll watch that clip and they'll go, oh, that's just AI, because there ain't nothing that I'm ever going to believe that doesn't jive with what I want to believe. That's the game she's running. And these people are in a cult and they just want her to be their queen. That's a fucking mental illness. That is a mental illness where you're just going to ignore everything. And she has not made any comment on any of this. She just keeps saying, she keeps towing the fucking line. Whatever the special interests want her to say, she's going to keep cranking that out. So now let's move to this fella named Cabot Phillips. I told you about Cabot Phillips. Cabot Phillips, she dated just before Charlie. As a matter of fact, she was apparently dating Cabot Phillips when suddenly she fell madly in love with Charlie. So she hooks up with Charlie. Charlie, who was a nerd and a virgin, who really didn't have a girlfriend before Erica Kirk because he's a weird guy. He's fucking weird. It's not like a normal teenager. He's like a super political. He's like a 70-year-old man in a 19-year-old's body. Charlie Kirk wasn't getting laid. And here's the weird thing. He probably could have. He wasn't a bad-looking man. He was not a bad-looking man. Anyway, suddenly, he's madly in love with Erica Kirk. Cabot Phillips, he's now somewhere else in the right-wing political war. He was given a job at the Daily Wire, where he became the editor of the Daily Wire, and over the course of the last couple of years had been in a very well-known public feud with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk went to war with the Daily Wire of Cabot Phillips, who also happened to be Charlie Kirk's wife's ex-boyfriend, the guy she was dating when she met Charlie Kirk. Are you following this whole thing? It's weird. So Charlie gets his head blown off. We all pretend like he's fucking Martin Luther King. And now here we are a couple of months later. And guess who's running Turning Point? Cabot Phillips. That's right. Oh, Charlie would be so proud. No, Charlie be fucking livid because the guy that was banging his wife before he was banging his wife, who he went to war with when he was with the Daily Wire, is now running his show. Is now Turning Point leadership, how Charlie would do it. All of those things are being led by this guy, Cabot Phillips, who is now gone from the Wire. He is back at Turning Point now that Charlie's dead, and he's working very, very closely with Erica. They have such a wonderful working relationship. Eric and Cabot have known each other for a long time. Yeah, they were fucking. We know they were together for a long. They were fucking. They get along so well. They're killing. They're just look. Hey man, look. Charlie getting cucked up there in heaven. I'm all for it because I think Charlie Kirk was a piece of shit. Nobody deserves to die in that manner. It's a tragedy that we have to endure these kinds of things in this country in the year 2025. But everybody dies, and I'm sorry. People who are not great when they're alive die, and that's who I viewed Charlie Kirk as. Okay. He's now up in heaven while everybody is clutching their pearls and saying, I just hope Charlie's smiling. He ain't smiling. He's up there watching his wife get railed by her ex-boyfriend who was just benched. He was just benched for a little while. You gotta believe. So anyway, I don't want to go into this whole, Erica Kirk is a plant and all this shit. And it was all set up from the beginning because Charlie organically grew this organization that became very powerful. And all of a sudden they needed to control this thing. So how do you control a young man who's got power? You send some really hot pussy his way. And that's what they did. They honeypotted his ass and they got control of his organization, and now he's gone. I don't know if it's all related. I don't know if they tried to remove him because Charlie started to break from what the special interests wanted him to be talking about, but apparently that's well documented. I don't know, man. This is a wild thing that's happening, and some of you still think it's legitimate. Some of you are still like, I love apology. Anyway, the last couple of days, Erica Kirk has been trending because she's fallen into meme status. What is it? What is the meme that's going around? It's pretty funny. They got some pretty funny ones. I think it says, so you post normal widows or something. I got an example of it. I'll show you. And then it's like, but Erica Kirk, like it shows how Erica Kirk is not behaving like a normal widow was. Hey, all I can tell you is that I was raised by a widow. And she did not behave in this way at all. She certainly there weren't any ex-boyfriends hanging out. All right, let me see here. I don't need we don't need the Tim Dillon thing. Apparently, Tim Dillon is very big on the Erica Kirk and what she's doing. Let me give you some examples here. Some of them are pretty funny. Like there was one with a chick on stage with a bottle rockets in her ass, and she was shooting bottle rockets out of her ass. They're like, "Hey, Erica Kirk, this is how you widow." Yeah, we don't need the Tim Dillon stuff. We don't need to promote that guy. He's pretty hacky, if you ask me. It's not even a good comic. Is this it? Yeah, everybody grieves differently. That's what it is. That's what the meme is that's going around. All right, so let's look at some of these. Okay, yeah. You're being so mean to a widow. Oh, stop it. I was raised by a widow. I've been mean to a widow my whole life, man. Let's see here. All right, here's one. All right, here's a good one. Let's see. Can we see this one? Maybe not. Hold on. Yeah. All right. All right. So, I mean, you know what these are. You've seen these. So, yeah. So this is the meme that's going around. Okay. See this? See how it says normal widows, I miss my husband, and then Erica Kirk, and it's, something like this. Look at her. It's like Rihanna dancing. Normal widows, I miss my husband, Erica Kirk, this. Okay, we get it. She's a highly inappropriate widow, but that's okay because her cult members that she's talking to have no idea what's appropriate and what's inappropriate because they were raised by baboons. That is the thing that I am getting. I know right and wrong, and I know what's a good look, and I know what's a bad look, and I know how to behave in a civilized society because I was raised by decent people who made sure that I understood. I can walk into a room and go, this is fucking tacky, because I know. Because I was raised by people with style, grace, dignity, and sophistication who wanted me to be a mannerly individual. All of these fucking people who are crowding into these 20,000 seat arenas to watch pyro displays and then have fucking Erica Kirk come out and talk to Nicki Minaj. Her husband's head was blown off 2 months ago. She's doing a world tour like she's a fucking Beatle. And the people in the audience are like, this is all totally okay. Because they don't know. They just don't know. God damn. Yeah, I spent my whole life around people that don't know. Like, you ever be around somebody who's the say the wrong thing guy, like doesn't know that you shouldn't say that to somebody? Like, you walk up, oh my God, you got fat. It's like, dude, you don't fucking say that. Why not? Well, if you were raised by better people, you would know why. But I don't have time to go through this with you, you heathen. We all just got to be better behaved. And we got to know when something isn't right. We got to know when something isn't appropriate. Anyway, there you go. That's what's happening with Erica Kirk. Let's jump in the chat room to see what you guys have to say. What do some of you women have to say about Erica Kirk? Well, Maddie's checking in. Does she have an Erica Kirk take? And there's something going on with Vance too. Very weird stuff. Meantime, Usha isn't wearing her wedding ring. Ooh, isn't that interesting? Yeah, no. What's going? I mean, Maddie's really smart. What's going on with JD Vance is that he's being primed to be next. MAGA is looking to move on without Donald Trump. That is really what's kind of happening here. And they are pushing and promoting JD Vance. The people who supported, and I don't mean like, you clicking on YouTube. I mean the people who write, $1 million check a week to Turning Point. Those people are kind of going to be in charge of the continuation of this part of the MAGA message. And they're going to do it with JD Vance. So JD Vance is being pushed by Erica Kirk now as the heir apparent, as Christopher Moltisanti from The Sopranos might say. I'm the heir apparent. So yeah, that's what's going on with JD Vance, which I got to tell you, everybody on the left and everybody in the middle is like, yeah, give us JD Vance. Let's put JD Vance up against a fucking arch vampire snake like Gavin Newsom and see how old hillbilly JD Vance does. JD Vance was given a free ride for some reason. Oh, well, because of Ohio. That was it. He was given a free ride. He's on the ticket because he's from Ohio, and they really needed to win Ohio. If you think that JD Vance is ready to be leader of the free world, holy shit. I mean, I don't want Gavin Newsom to be leader of the free world. I don't want that. But he's fucking ready. He's fucking ready. JD Vance ain't. JD Vance is just going to dick trip over everything. He ain't going to win. He can't win. I mean, come on. Nobody outside of the people showing up at Erica Kirk rallies are going to support JD Vance. That's just, he doesn't have the middle. He's been too weird. And yeah, apparently there's an issue going on. Are we going to see the vice president go through a divorce? I don't think we've ever seen that. I don't put anything past these people. The rules don't apply. They just doing it whatever they can. Maddie also says, yes, but weird lingering hugs on stage, and it just seems very clumsy. She's talking about JD Vance and Erica Kirk. Yeah, no, I don't see that. I see where you're going. You're thinking like maybe there's something between JD Vance and Erica. No, have you seen Cabot Phillips? Cabot Phillips is a handsome man. He looks like, he's age appropriate for Erica Kirk. That's who she's with. He's been given the keys to everything. He's like running Charlie's program, which was the thing that he created. It was about leadership conferences, and Charlie would come out and teach young men how to be leader. That's now Cabot Phillips. He's now doing it. A guy Charlie hated at the end of his life is now, but see, if you don't think about it, doesn't bother you. And good for Erica Kirk that all of the Turning Point USA people don't think about a whole lot of stuff. They're just all up in their anger bag, and they just want to be triggered and told that them being triggered is okay. That's what that whole organization is about. Oh yeah, and Jesus and send money. That's what that whole organization is. Come on, Byron. Come on, Byron. This is why we need to do calls, because I would love to joust with Byron over this. My tongue is bleeding. So much retardation. Byron's a good dude. See, Byron is an example of somebody, one of my MAGA friends. Although Byron and I aren't really friends. We just know each other through this. But I got a lot of MAGA friends. Byron's a good example. He's down, he's in it. And I know, I don't, it's not one of those deals where, again, we talked about, do you lose all respect? I don't lose all respect. He's funny. He's a normal dude. He's got one vote. His vote can go anywhere he wants. I don't lose all respect for people. I don't. I'm sorry. People are people. However, if we were out drinking, I would we'd get into a debate. But here's the thing with me in debates, and you can ask my kid in the next room. Don't take it personal, because, I'm going to laugh when it's over with, and we're going to high five, hopefully, and be like, yeah, you suck, and you think I suck. Want to get another drink? Let's get a shot. Come on. That's how we used to be. That's how we used to be. We don't have to root for the same teams. My best friend growing up was a Cub fan. I mean, could you imagine if I stopped being friends? Where's Tom Beller? Another one. Good friend. Cub fan. Love Tom Beller. I didn't lose all respect for him because he supports the Chicago Cubs. That's just something that he likes. Okay, Byron, I'm looking to joust with somebody who wants to defend Erica Kirk's behavior, and I thought you were throwing some bait out for me. But yes, you would be right. The chat room is oftentimes retarded. Let's see. I see what Maddie's saying regarding Cabot Phillips. I think that the actual romantic love that is occurring organically is between Erica Kirk and Cabot Phillips. Maddie is suggesting that maybe JD Vance, because USA, his wife, is supposedly not wearing her wedding ring anymore, that maybe there's something going on with Erica Kirk and JD Vance. That's fun, right? That's kind of like libtard Twitter fun. Like I don't really get into that. I'm just going by the facts. I'm just going by the way it's laid out, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, nobody else notices this is weird about Cabot, how Charlie didn't like him and how he dated Erica just before Charlie, and Erica broke up with him to go with Charlie, and now Charlie's dead, and now Cabot's back with Erica running everything, or not back with Erica. I shouldn't say that. I'm misstating it. They are not publicly together. They're just working very closely all day. Do you think Charlie, guys, you got a woman in your life? How would you feel if just all of a sudden your wife is like, yes, I'm starting a new business with my ex-boyfriend. We're going to be working very closely. Nobody wants that. And it's an extra bad look because Charlie's head got blown off on camera. All right? We all saw it. We saw the horrible thing that family went through, and we felt compassion for them because we're decent people. And now, a couple of months later, we are seeing that they didn't need compassion. They don't seem all that upset about it. They are just keeping the fucking machine rolling. She should be... To be honest with you, if she was a real Christian, she'd be wearing black for a year. You know? If she was a real Christian, like in a real Christian, by that I mean like a real Christian religion. Like if you were Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, real Christian religion, right? Not whatever this nonsense evangelical, let's make up the rules as we go along, as long as at the end we say praise Jesus. That's bullshit. That is nonsense. And that's what has intoxicated so many probably otherwise good people into, I'm a Christian. I'm this newfangled kind of evangelical Christian where we have pyro and it's like a WWE event. That's not fucking real. They are selling God. What's the thing that's going around? There's a way that somebody is saying it that I thought was really clever that I saw yesterday. Oh, yeah, it's God is not using Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk is using God. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely what is happening. Erica Kirk is not being used by God. She is not an instrument of God. She is, however, using God for her purposes. Thought that was great. She's a Rothschild? Is that what Byron? I love seeing now Byron. Byron could be our QAnon correspondent because I know Byron likes all of this stuff. Him and Barney, too. Where's Barney? Is Barney here today? We'll go after Barney. Barney thinks that Michelle Obama and Barack Obama were put together by like some clandestine group. Dude, their story is so fucking well documented. There is I don't know what QAnon hole you went down. Jesus Christ. They were two smart black people on the south side of Chicago who met the way people meet all the time. They met at a law firm. She was his boss. He was like an intern or something. You never saw the story? You never saw that movie? There was a movie, Southside and You. I think that's what it's called. I watched it because it said Southside in it, and I like to see movies that depict my neighborhood. But anyway, I watched that. It was a great movie. And Barney's like, Barack and Michelle were put together by a master race of liberal Martians. And what? What are you talking about? You're weird. Bill Falk says, he's not weird. He's Barney. He's my guy. All right. She talks about the virtues of being a traditional wife, but her whole background is that of a career woman. She's a hypocrite. She's a super elitist. She's like a super, like her family is like super well connected. And first time I've ever heard a Rothschild reference came from Byron. But see, it's what I want to believe. So I'm going with it. I will tell somebody tonight, Erica Kirk's a Rothschild based on no more information than what Byron told me in the chat room. That's how we do. That's how we do in 2025. Byron says Bathhouse Barry and Big Mike. Now I don't know who Big Mike is because again, I know who Big Mike the hip hop guy is, but I don't know who Big Mike is in this reference. Bathhouse Barry is the Obama is gay thing, which I don't know that's true. I've heard it. I mean, I suppose it could be true. And that could certainly be more true than Barack and Michelle were put together by... Okay. But I got to ask the question. Byron, what the fuck do you care what his sexual orientation is? Why is this a gotcha moment for your side? Obama's gay. Trump's retarded. I mean, what the fuck is the point? I mean, I don't understand. So what if he's gay? So what if Barack Obama is gay? And I don't believe he is, but so what if he is? Why is that a big problem? Why does that fall under things we should be concerned about? Does that mean he's corrupt? Does that mean he's taking free jumbo jets from Qatari dictators? What does that mean? Does that mean that his son-in-law, Jared, is over there developing land that was... That's a story. That's a story we don't have time to get into. But what the fucking Kushner Ivanka bullshit going on, that's going to be a scandal. That's going to be a scandal. Jared Kushner's wealth has gone up like $2 billion. You weren't no billionaire when this whole thing started. He's worth $2 billion now. How did Jared Kushner do that? Oh, Big Mike. Oh yeah, that's right. Because Michelle's a dude. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter that everyone in Chicago knows somebody who went to grade school with her. But no, it's all right. She's a dude. She's a dude. To Byron in Texas, she's a dude. To us up here, who all know somebody who knew Michelle Obama when she was fucking a kid. Well, wait, no, I meant when she was a kid, not fucking a kid. Although that's probably something else. Dude, come on, man. The Robinson family on the south side of Chicago is very well documented. Michelle never had a dick. She was a little girl. Jesus Christ. We got a news anchor in this town who was her friend growing up. Oh, but she had a dick. See, I mean, that's such a weird thing to criticize them over. You cannot criticize them over anything else. So you go into this shit. Meanwhile, when the people want to criticize your guy, Trump, they actually have fucking receipts and they have actual things that are happening in the world. But with Barack and Michelle, it's he's gay and she's got a dick. Well played, geniuses. What the fuck? I mean, I get not liking them because they're politically different from what your ideology is. But come on, man. You're losing that war. Good Lord. Trump's got 37 fucking convictions. You don't believe that? That happened in court. We all saw it. It was very well documented as it was going on. That you don't believe. But Michelle Obama was never a little girl on the south side of Chicago. No. No, she's got a dick. Thank you. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Byron, for that little set off. I appreciate it. Sometimes it's Adam who sets me off. Sometimes, look, any of you guys, I'm a very volatile individual. All right, let's keep going here. Erica Kirk. All right, we just shit on her because I am not afraid to shit on a widow because, once again, I was raised by a widow. I understand how the game is supposed to be played. It's not. I'm not going to go into my mom as a widow. My mom dated nobody my entire life growing up. She dated nobody. And let me tell you something. I've been told by other men and people of the era, my mom was hot. Okay. My mom was not on the bench romantically because she couldn't get a date. She was bartending. She was like the hot bartender at places. You know, that's what my mom was doing after my dad died. She wasn't dating. She never brought dudes home. I didn't have an endless stream of uncles. I didn't have an Uncle Cabot, that's for sure. She waited until I was like 14, 15 before she started dating somebody. Being a widow is difficult. The reason we have compassion for widows is because they are going through something absolutely horrendous. Their entire world has been overturned. And now suddenly, and especially if we're talking about traditional relationships of the past, and the Kirks were certainly traditional, the woman is now forced to be the breadwinner, right? Out of fucking nowhere all of a sudden. Some women will, tend bar, wait tables, do whatever the fuck they got to do. Other people go up on stage and interview Nicki Minaj in front of like 300 tons of pyro. I'm just telling you, I was raised by a widow who is an appropriate widow. I wish it wasn't that way. I think about how my mother's prime years while I was growing up were basically wasted because all she did was work and provide for me. That's all she did. I mean, she'll tell you now. Like, she'll tell you now, I had fun. I had a good life. I had a lot of fun. And she did. But she was a widow. She behaved like a widow. A 1970s hippie widow, but still, cool. So please, don't at me about how dare you talk about Erica Kirk. Fuck that. She is not looking like a traumatized woman who has, and by the way, here's the other thing. When my mother became a widow, everything was gone. Everything. Oh my God. How are we going to pay rent? How are we going to live here? How are we going to do this? My mom was a fucking art student. And all of a sudden she's a widow. Erica Kirk didn't have any of those problems. Erica Kirk's husband's head exploded on fucking TV. And all of a sudden she was worth $100 million. Just like that. So please, with your Erica Kirk and the sainted widow bullshit. All right, we're going to move on. Now let's move on to something else that's going to make me mad. Hold on. Sorry. If I'm gonna shout at people and yell at them, I gotta make sure that they get to respond. Byron says, I was just telling you the Q side. I'm only 60-40 on her. Okay. There you go. I get it, it's fun. If we were sitting in a bar, I'd have fun with you. But I'm here doing this, goddammit, and I gotta try and be at least. What's that? Mr. Popular. All right, let's go to the Joy Division. Let's talk about this story because the story made me mad. I don't know if you guys know who Joy Division is. They essentially broke up in 1980 when Ian Curtis, their lead singer, committed suicide. 23 years old, genius, just an unbelievably talented writer, and just had a real vision for music. It was different. Joy Division was different, man. Everything that came after them, The Cure and the Smiths and all of that stuff, that was all basically started by Ian Curtis's mood. Ian Curtis being a bit of a mod, a bit of sad and depressed and dealing with this incredible case of, what do they call it? Epilepsy. Yeah, he had epilepsy. All right, so anyway, here's how you know who Joy Division is. They're New Order. All right, if you know who New Order, every time I see you falling, I get down on my knees and pray. New Order. Banging. Love New Order. Well, they were Joy Division. When Ian Curtis killed himself, they just changed the name to New Order. Okay, so that's who we're talking about here. The Prime Minister of Australia got off. I don't know, they got like an Air Force One down there, or is it just a big giant Qantas jet with an Australian flag on it? I don't know. He's getting off the presidential plane there in Australia, and he's wearing a Joy Division t-shirt. He was wearing blue jeans and a Joy Division t-shirt. Now, you just know that he was trying to look cool. He's like, I'm going to try and be a cool, relevant leader, because every president gets off a plane in a suit. Not this guy. He's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And why not? It's Australia. What's the worst that can happen if you fuck up as president of Australia? You don't have nukes or anything. He's got a bunch of kangaroos and koala bears and platypuses, a bunch of exotic animals, and hot chicks. That's pretty much all Australian is. Good music. Australia's got good music. Which brings us back to the president of Australia disembarking on his airplane wearing a Joy Division t-shirt. What's this guy's name? I should probably give you his name. Oh, we got a picture of it? Oh, we'll show you a picture of it. We got a news story from Sky News. Oh, how fun. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is facing intense renewed criticism after a video from last October resurfaced showing him wearing a t-shirt bearing the name of the band Joy Division, a term rooted in Nazi concentration camp atrocities. No, it's not. It's rooted in a novel that was depicting a fictional account of Nazi concentration camp atrocities. But okay, why are we splitting hairs? We're splitting hairs because nuance is important. That's why we don't do nuance anymore. We do the easy button. Everything is black or white, good or bad. I like, I hate. No, there's a lot of nuance in this world. And this is nuance During World War II, Joy Division was used by the Nazis. No, it wasn't, but that's okay. It's being reported. During World War II, Joy Division was used by the Nazis to describe groups of Jewish women in concentration camps who were systematically raped and forced into sexual slavery for German soldiers. That's from a novel. Again, there is no historical account of a Joy Division. This was written in a novel by somebody who was writing a piece of fiction about people in a concentration camp. Okay, it was set in very real places, but the experiences of the individuals in the novel, they're not real people, they're not real experiences. But anyway, here we are. So now, because of this book, that's by the way, that's why Ian Curtis named the band that. He loved that book. He was obsessed with World War II. As I'll point out in a minute here, everybody of his generation is in England. If you were an English kid born in the 1950s, you are defined by what the Nazis did to your island 10 years earlier. Okay, that defined you growing up. You walked to your school in 1958 through the streets of London next to buildings that were still rubble. The way my generation, Gen X, we are defined and branded by the Cold War. We are defined by growing up in an era where we were told at any minute bombs could drop and we could all die. We have 20 minutes. That's the amount of time we had. 20 minutes for the bombs to make it from Russia to here. And I'm a 10-year-old and people are like, we're all going to be vaporized in a minute. That defined my generation. The same way that Ian Curtis's generation of English lads were defined by an obsession with what the Nazis did to you and your people. Your parents lived through the bombings, right? I mean, your parents were... Anyway, so that's why there was some sort of interest or obsession with Nazi imagery. And also, it was 1980. It was fucking 1980. Mel Brooks had made a movie 10 years earlier, Hitler on Ice. Well, I mean, I know that was not a real movie, but it was a bit. It was a bit that he did in a movie. Hitler. So you can make fun of Hitler. You can do Nazi imagery for laughs. Mel Brooks can do it, but an artist, a poet, and all of that wants to sort of tap into that imagery as it defined him as a child. And no, that makes him a fascist. Anyway, here you go. Here's the story. This comes to us. It looks like this is Sky News. I love Sky News. Sky News is good news. Although I don't appreciate this story. Here we go. Let's watch this. This is about the Australian Prime Minister, who's obviously a Nazi because he wore a Joy Division shirt.
Now, tonight I can reveal that the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, asked the media not to film him when he disembarked from his VIP plane from Washington wearing the highly controversial Joy Division T-shirt. I'm told that Albanese said...
It has never, until now, been highly controversial to be an Ian Curtis fan or a Joy Division fan. I mean, love will tear us apart. Isn't that used in like every other fucking commercial that we see on TV? Haven't we heard that a lot? I mean, it seems to me I hear love will tear us apart, they say. I hear that everywhere. Like, now every time we hear it, we got to stick our fingers in our ears because that's Nazi, because we're simplistic. We're 25. We live online and we're looking for clicks. So we're just going to fucking pervert the truth for our own social clout. Has never before been a thing that if you like Joy Division, you're a Nazi.
He was tired. He didn't want to put on a suit. And he obviously didn't want to be filmed in that T-shirt. Now, last night on this show, I explained the meaning of the band name Joy Division.
Please.
Now, the band Joy Division took its name from a wing of a Nazi concentration camp where women were sex slaves.
No, they didn't.
It was where female Jews were forced into prostitution for the Nazis.
It's a book.
And the Nazis called this wing the Joy Division. Yeah. Self-explanatory. Now, I initially gave Albanese the benefit of the doubt.
All right, fuck this bitch. Seriously, I mean, are you kidding me?
But then it turned out that
that's not it.
Nigel Marsh told him precisely what Joy Division meant just 3 years ago when Albanese was campaigning to be Prime Minister.
All right, that's Joy Division. You've probably heard that song a bunch of times. That's their big hit. And so, well, they only had one hit. Well, he fucking killed himself on the eve of their North American tour. They were getting ready to come to. No, they're a very good band. They're a very good band, and he killed himself. Okay, so there's another example of the Sky News person just falsely making the association with an actual. It's not. It's from a book. It is from a novel. But she just put it out there on Sky that it's. Look it up. Look it up. What is the novel called? Hold on. I bet Wikipedia probably has something on this, right? I mean, I don't look at Wikipedia. Oh, shut up. In situations like this, they're going to have something that will either disprove or help prove and reinforce my point. Do I have anything? Oh, okay. Oh, look at this. Look at what I've got. Here you go. Look at first thing I just pull up. Joy Division name. Here's what I pull up. Initially, the band named themselves Warsaw from the song title Warsawa on David Bowie's then album Low. So they were originally going to call themselves Warsaw. However, as this name somewhat conflicted with that of a current London-based group called Warsaw Pact, Warsaw, Joy Division, then renamed themselves Joy Division. Okay, you get it? So they were calling themselves Warsaw, and then somebody said, hey, there's another band in London that's kind of good, and they're called Warsaw Pact. Maybe you shouldn't be Warsaw. And they're like, okay. And so they came up with the name Joy Division. This moniker was derived from the 1953 novella The House of Dolls, which features a Nazi concentration camp with sexual slavery called the Joy Division. Okay, so the novel it's a 1953 novel, The House of Dolls. We just heard Sky News go, it's Nazi. It's Nazi adjacent because it's from a fictional account. But to suggest that the Prime Minister of Australia is wearing a shirt named for a band who thought it was cool that in reality the Nazis raped women in concentration camps, that's wrong. No, the band was named that because it was a cool name from a fucking novel that Ian Curtis enjoyed. And do you think a Nazi would enjoy a novel about the terrors that a family went through in a concentration camp? No. He was reading that as an empathetic person, and he went, oh, that's a cool name for a band. And now, 40 years later, the Australian Prime Minister can't wear a fucking Joy Division shirt because, again, idiot blue hairs with nose rings on fucking Twitter are now making them out to be fascists. Now, there was also, I mentioned this, the issue with I do remember the album with the little Nazi kid on it. Do we have anything on that? Well, okay. The cover of the band's first EP depicted a drawing of a Hitler Youth beating a drum, and the A-side contained a song called Warsaw, which was a musical retelling of the life of a leading member of the Nazi Party, Rudolf Hess. So he wrote a song about Rudolf Hess, who was a historical figure, right? And that means that he's a fucking Nazi. Listen to the song, and then you tell me if this is a pro-Nazi song. He wrote a song about Rudolf Hess, therefore it must be positive, so it must be a song celebrating Rudolf Hess. Oh, shut the fuck up, man. God, you people, you don't know how to handle art, and you don't do nuance. Back then we did. Back in the 80s we did. Nobody thought he was a fucking Nazi because he wrote a song called Rudolf Hess. Nobody thought that back then. But we think it now. Let's see here. Okay, Curtis's widow, Deborah, who wrote a really good book. I wish I could tell you. This is the story of Ian Curtis that I read years ago. God, what was that book called? Something about standing by the light or standing. I don't know. It's not that important. Ian Curtis's widow, Deborah Curtis, noted in her memoir Touching from a Distance. There it is. It's Touching from a Distance. Yeah, it's a good book. Curtis's widow, Deborah Curtis, noted in her memoir, Touching from a Distance, that Ian was fascinated by the darker aspects of human suffering and military history. Okay, so his wife was like, yeah, no, he was really empathetic. He was an empath. He really cared about stories that depicted human suffering and all of that. And he also, is like any man born in 1956. He loves World War II stuff. Loves combat, loves documentaries on YouTube. Curtis's widow, Deborah Curtis, noted in her memoir, Touching from a Distance, that Ian was fascinated by the darker aspects of human suffering and military history. Bandmate Bernard Sumner stated that the band had no Nazi sympathies and chose the name as an aesthetic decision to reflect the heavy history of their parents' generation. That's what I was meaning when I was explaining about how Gen X, like we grew up, we are formed, our whole way of reacting and seeing the world comes from a very young stage realization that it could all be over like this, that the bombs could fall, that Russia or Soviet Union was coming for us. So we all had sort of a fatalistic vibe that we may not be here. And then everything got fine in 1989 when the wall came down and we're all like 20 years old and we're like, well, we're fucked now because we're adults now and there's not a problem, but we still think there is a problem. Anyway, that's the Gen X cross we bear. But for kids or British people or British, citizens of this age born in the 1950s, as it says here, the decision, the interest in Nazi, it reflects the heavy history of their parents' generation. Like I said, man, English people who grew up in that era, kids, the first generation following the Blitzkrieg, the first generation who grew up among the rubble, all they heard their whole lives, just like I heard the bombs are going to fall, all they heard their whole lives were stories of when the bombs fell, what happened, why this building isn't here anymore. You become interested and obsessed with it. It becomes a big part of who you are. The Beatles, George Harrison was a guy. George Harrison was fascinated with World War II. George Harrison toured all of the concentration camps. George Harrison is a fan of the Nazis. No. He grew up in England on an island that was almost completely devastated by these monsters. And so there is a natural interest in them. It's not a celebration of them. No Englishman. You're a weird fucking Englishman if you're a Nazi. Because that's a country that came in and fucked up your grandparents. Bad. Anyway, there you have it. That's all we got. That's all we got on the Joy Division. Stop screwing around. Oh, by the way, can we just talk a little bit about Ian Curtis? Some of the things that we don't know. He died at 23 years old. He committed suicide. Not exactly the rock star death you expect, right? You think 1980, 23 years old, Joy Division, English. You're thinking, right? You're thinking like heroin. You're thinking something like that. No, he hung himself. Ian Curtis hung himself. Ian Curtis had a really difficult time performing because he had epilepsy really bad. And he would have these horrible, horrible seizures. Like in the recording studio, there was a famous concert, I want to say it was in Germany, where when they'd go in to play a concert somewhere, there were very specific instructions for the lighting person because Ian Curtis was photosensitive, which means, strobe lights and shit like that would throw him into a seizure. Right in the middle of a song, the lighting guy hit the wrong button and the strobes went off, and Ian Curtis was immediately flung into a crazy seizure. He fell backwards into the drum set. They had to carry him off the stage. I mean, could you imagine living like that? And Ian Curtis, towards the end of his life, he was going through that like once every 2 days. Once every 2 days, he would have bruises and injuries all over them. He had 15 stitches in his head. Still, the stitches were still in his head the day he killed himself. Why? Because a couple of days earlier, he fell and clocked his head on the fucking sink in the bathroom because he had a seizure and bam. Ian Curtis killed himself, not because of drugs, not because of this, not because of that, because he couldn't live that way anymore. And he was a terrific artist, and it's a very sad story. But now, what the fuck? Let's just call him a Nazi, right? Right? Fuck that guy. For clicks. Anyway. Oh, is Maddie doing a little research on the book? The novel? Says it was written by a Jewish Holocaust survivor. Yeah, ain't this true? Amy with a great point. Lots of people absolutely cannot handle art, not capable of being patient enough to analyze at a deeper level, and they just judge. Yeah, aesthetically. People like see something and go, oh, I don't like it. No, let it wash over you. Fucking check it out. How is it making you feel? No, I don't like the way it feels. I'm moving on. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of people, there are certain kinds of people who can really appreciate art for how it makes them feel, for how it moves them or how it disturbs them. You know, that's another thing that art's allowed to do. Art is supposed to affect you. Anyway, that's look, some of us are different. Some of us. Maddie's got the book. I think I said the book, but she's right. She says book is House of Dolls by Yael D. Noor. That's an Israeli name. Yael D. Noor. That's definitely Israeli. Okay. All right, Adam's back. Good, dude. We didn't do anything important. Adam had a meeting, and now he's back, and we can start the show. We've been waiting for Adam. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? We did the Australian Prime Minister. Got a story here about a Florida man who killed his entire family. I don't know that I really want to go there. Killed his family over the 49ers game. That's not the one last night. I think it was the one a week ago or something. Let's see what this is about. Oh, he was drunk and in Florida. Drunk Florida man kills wife and shoots teen daughter in the face before taking his own life after a Monday night football spat. Ay. We need to see this guy, right? We need to see a guy that's capable of this kind of bullshit. All right, here he is. Killed his family. Shot his teen daughter in the face because, because he was... Oh, do we got it? Yeah, there it is. Imagine being that much of an intellectual and mental midget. There he is. Look at him. He loves his Niners, boy. Look at him. Yeah, that guy loves his team. He's smiling. Better times. He shot his daughter in the face. Cool, man. Cool. All right, let me give you the story here. Let's see what this was about. Drunk Florida man kills his wife and shoots his teen daughter in the face before taking his own life after a Monday night football spat. A drunken Florida man killed his wife and shot his 13-year-old daughter in the face, then took his own life in a petty argument over him wanting to watch Monday night football. Hey, that's the reason earlier in the show that I said, hey, you got maybe some women or gay men in your life that don't appreciate you watching football. Yeah, I'm going with that stereotype. I know a lot of gay dudes. None of them like football. Not the way straight dudes like it. I'm not saying that makes them better or worse. This isn't a judgment. This isn't a value call. It's an observation that all the gay men I know are not as crazy about the NFL as I am or any of my heterosexual friends. So yeah, I'm going to say if you've got women or gay men in your life, they're probably like, you're not paying any attention to us. Jason Kenny, 47 years old, shot himself in a shed. That's like the best place to shoot yourself, right? That's usually shed. Go find a shed. You know why a shed is good? I guess a garage is good. Basement too. You don't want to do it in the living room. Think about the people you're leaving behind. Although in this fucker's case, he didn't leave anybody behind. Jason Kenny, 47, shot himself in a shed hours after gunning down his wife, Crystal. That's a red flag name. Crystal is a red flag name. After she suggested that he turn off the San Francisco 49ers and Indianapolis Colts game on Sunday, Kenny had been drinking, and I wonder who Kenny... Nothing. I don't want to do that. Never mind. Kenny had been drinking, and the demand sparked a massive fight. Bad enough that Crystal told her 12-year-old son to call 911. All right, so there was a 12-year-old son in the house, too. He called 911, and he ran. Good for him. He's now... you know what? I can't even make light of this story. There's a 13-year-old girl with a bullet in her face. I mean, this fucking guy. This mental midget. You see him in his little 49ers jersey, backwards hat. I'm in a bar. I'm having fun. I'm a cool guy. We're cool guys watching football. A couple months from now, I'm going to shoot my 13-year-old in the face. But I'm a cool guy today. Fucking gross. Fucking gross. I say the F word too much. That's me policing myself. Nobody has told me that. But, I started leaning into profanity or casual conversational profanity, which is, or, performative profanity, however you want to term it. I don't talk this way in real life. It's just, trying to do something. And unlike the first 20 years of my talk radio career, I can say whatever I want here. I can use the F word. But I do think in 2025, that's going to be something I'm going to try and fix. I'm going to try and do a little bit less of that. There's no need for it. I mean, it is a part of my personality. Look at this fucking guy. I mean, it is kind of part of my personality. But remember when we first started doing this show 4 years ago, I said I wasn't going to swear and I was using fracking. I was going to say frack instead of fuck because of Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, that didn't take. That never took. All right, let's do this one. Let me see here. Florida man. We did this one. Should we go through the most dangerous cities? Let's do that. Let's go through the least and most dangerous cities in the country for the year 2025. This is about crime statistics. This is about not just crime statistics. The analysis doesn't just take into account crime data. It also evaluates how safe residents are from other things that could blah, 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 blah. Natural disasters, wildfires, hurricanes, financial security, the economic position of the place they're from also is measured in. Financial safety is also factored in, blah, 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 like unemployment rates, percentages of people living without health insurance, and poverty. Okay, so all of these things combined with crime, violent, nonviolent, this mayhem. Let's just do it this way. These are just the most mayhem-based places in America, where if you just got off a bus and started walking, you are most likely to end up dead. That's the best way to do it. Could be a tornado, could be an earthquake, could be a gangbanger, could be some bad dope. I don't know. But here you go. Are you ready for this list? Yeah, by the way, it was funny on Saturday night. I told you my son and I, we were driving around downtown Chicago. I was taking the scenic route. We went to the Chicago Bulls game, and I'm like, we'll take Lakeshore Drive and then come down Madison. Stupid mistake. But I wanted him to have, a sort of scenic experience. Yes, real smart dude. Drive through the theater district of Chicago on Madison Avenue, which is where all of the big, it's like Broadway. It's like where all the big giant theaters are and live stage plays and stuff. Yeah, on Saturday night at 7:00, there shouldn't be any traffic. Nobody's going to shows Christmas weekend on Saturday night. Oh, it was a parking lot. It was a fucking parking lot. Anyway, we're driving around and we're seeing all these people, thousands and thousands of people on a Saturday night, all the Christmas lights, museum campus is jammed with people. The Bean is jammed with people. I mean, literally, it's bumper to bumper traffic in downtown Chicago on Saturday night. And I'm looking around. I rolled the window down. My kid gets very cringe. Roll my window down. I'm like, don't you people know you're all going to die? This is the most dangerous. It was absolute bullshit. Vibrant, electric, Christmas time city, like fucking Manhattan. Not like downtown Dallas. That was the other thing. My kid's like, Jesus, this is not like downtown Dallas. I go, no. Downtown Dallas has tumbleweeds. There's like nothing but homeless dudes and fucking rats. That's all. That's empty office buildings. No, this was vibrant. It was a city. It was awesome. It was great. And I'm glad he had the experience because he loves this city. He loves being, part Chicagoan. So anyway, yeah. So let's find out where Chicago is on this list. Because remember, I've spent a lot of time in Texas. It is my chosen state. Every time somebody finds out I'm from Chicago, without really? It's pretty dangerous there, huh? pretty. But you ever been shot at? No, never been fucking shot at. And I always feel bad about that because my father was shot and killed. So I'm like, no, not me, but my dad. But that's beside the point. That has nothing to do with my greater feeling that this city is not nearly as dangerous as people say. People remember when Chicago's more dangerous than Beirut? Who fucking said that on Fox News that you morons repeated? Really? Jesus. Remember, guys, there is violence in the city of Chicago, just like there's violence in Oak Cliff, just like there's violence in the Bronx, just like there's violence in South Central. There is violence in every big city. Well, there we go. It's just that in the case. There we go. All right. Every big city is violent. It's just that Chicago was politically given a scarlet letter because it's the home of Obama, and before Obama, the home of Hillary. So, of course, everything about Chicago has to be bad when Fox News or the Republican right is talking about it. Why? Because it's associated with Obama. See, this is what Obama's city was. Obama never held any office in the city of Chicago. What the fuck are you talking about? Hillary never held office in the city of Chicago. We've had our share of scandals and corrupt politicians, to be sure. But this idea that the entire city of Chicago has been turned into, and you know, people who've never been here. It's people who've never been. I hear it's like when you land, when you come in, do you see the fires burning? Is it like all burnt? Fuck you, you morons. I'm so sick of it. So let's see where Chicago is on the list of the 10 most dangerous cities in America. Certainly it's got to be top 3, right? I mean, Fox News and Newsmax wouldn't lie to you, would they? Would they lie to you? Let's find out. All right, first let's do the safest. Let's find out the USA's safest cities, okay? Because these are all places that, like, you know, first of all, I promise you, none of us can afford. Look, I know we're all kind of like working class, but I know that from tips. The tips were not great. We are hemorrhaging. It's very difficult. The show runs on your gratuities, and I can tell that we're all struggling equally because we can't live in any of these cities. None of these cities. I'm going to give you the 10 safest cities in America. We can't live in any of them. Number 10, Salem, Oregon. I'm sure they've got like $1 million houses in Salem, Oregon. Number 10, Salem, Oregon, 10th safest city in America. Number 9 is Lewiston, Maine. People who eat fucking crab for breakfast. Number 8, Columbia, Maryland. I don't know about Columbia. I bet Columbia, Maryland is probably like somewhere, some fancy Washington, D.C. enclave, right? South Burlington, Vermont is the number 7 safest city. Casper, Wyoming is the 6th safest city. Here we go to number 5. This is crazy. The number 5 safest city in America is Yonkers, New York. Yonkers. You realize Yonkers borders Manhattan. It borders New York City. And Yonkers ain't a rich neighborhood. It ain't like a bunch of rich people. The son of Sam lived in Yonkers. Yonkers, New York, the number 5. It's crazy. Number 5 safest city in America is Yonkers, New York. Right there. Manhattan, it's right there. It's like Harlem is like 5 blocks to the south of where Yonkers is. Where Harlem ends, Yonkers begins. Yonkers is the 5th safest city in America. Number 4. Well, this one goes without saying. I mean, how much crime can there be in Juneau, Alaska, right? You got to feel pretty safe. Number 4 is Juneau, Alaska. Number 3 is Burlington, Vermont. Does Vermont have 2? Yes. Yeah, look at that. Number 7 is South Burlington, Lamont. Or number 7 is the number 7 safest city in America is South Burlington, Vermont. The number 3 safest city in America is Burlington, Vermont. I wonder what happened with South Burlington. I wonder what, probably like one crime. There's like one more thing happened there, so it falls down the list. All right, number 3 is Burlington, Vermont, safest city in America. Number 2. Now, this I know a bunch of rich people. I know a bunch of rich people live here because a whole bunch of celebrities are from here. Like a whole bunch of them, and they're all like friends. And you only, by the way, remember, you only get to be a celebrity if you're wealthy. It's very rare does a working class or even a poor kid. Music is where, if you poor kids make it in music, but not acting. And there's a whole bunch of like famous people that all grew up together in Overland Park. Our dads were all on the same board of directors. Yeah, Overland Park. Overland Park, Kansas is number 2. I want to say it's like John Hamm and Jason Sudeikis, and there's bigger ones. There's bigger ones than that. Anyway, they're all Joe Buck, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Overland Park, Kansas is the number 2 safest city in America. And, I've heard that's a nice place. Number one safest city in America, incredibly expensive. This is billionaires oceanfront property. That's what Warwick, Rhode Island is. Warwick, Rhode Island, the home of billionaires and their giant oceanfront summer homes and all of that stuff. Number 1 safest city in America. The rich people got it good, don't they? The rich people got it good. All right, let's go into where the rest of us have to live. Let's do the 10 most dangerous cities in America. This is where you're most likely to end up dead. Number 10, Cleveland. Cleveland comes on at number 10. I don't know. Cleveland. There you go. Number 9, most dangerous city in America. Number 9, Philadelphia. So Cleveland is 10, Philadelphia is 9. Number 8 is San Bernardino, California. 10 is Cleveland, 9 is Philadelphia, 8 is San Bernardino, California. The 7th most dangerous city in America. Still haven't seen Chicago. The 7th most dangerous city in America, Houston. Houston, Texas comes in at number 7. Oh, look at that. Chicago's not even on the list, but already a Texas city is represented. Well, Houston down there, everybody's got a gun, so everybody's safer. That's what's going on down there. I mean, they're number 7 in crime and danger, but, everybody's safe because they got a gun, because that's Houston. Number 6, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. You didn't think Florida was going to get out of this without having one of the shittiest fucking most dangerous places to live. Florida's number 6. The number 5 most dangerous city in America, number 5. Baltimore. I watched The Wire. Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, I'm surprised Baltimore. That used to be my default. Because when people first started shitting on Chicago, I think it coincided with my first watch of The Wire or my first re-binge. And I remember I used to always go, are you fucking kidding me? Have you ever seen what's going on in Baltimore? Again, me being a dumbass because I'm judging an entire city by the way it's depicted in the TV show, which isn't all that much better than, people deciding that Chicago is Beirut because Bill O'Reilly told them so, or whoever, Jesse Waters. Let's update the reference, I guess. All right, where were we? Where are we at? Baltimore. That's right. Baltimore is number 5. All right, here are the 5 most dangerous cities in America for the year 2025. Once again, we have not heard Chicago yet, but that's okay because it's sure to be number 1. Number 5 is Baltimore. Number 4 is Detroit. Number 3 is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Number 2 most dangerous city in America. Perennial. I mean, this is the New England Patriots of shitty cities. This is like perennially somewhere up there at the top. Number 2, Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee is the 2nd most dangerous city in America. Isn't that weird? I love Memphis. I think Memphis is a cool fucking city. It's got a scene. All right, let's go. Memphis is number 2. So that brings us to what is the most dangerous city in America? It's got to be Chicago. Or at the very least, if it's not Chicago, it's one of them northern blue state cities. No, it's fucking New Orleans. New Orleans is once again, for the 2nd year in a row, the most dangerous city in America. Memphis holds on to the number 2 spot. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, coming in at number 3, displaces completely out of the top 10, so good on you. Number 3 used to be St. Louis. It's now Baton Rouge. St. Louis didn't even make the top 10 most dangerous cities. Well done, St. Louis, because you were getting really fucking sketchy. All right, just to be clear as we move on, Chicago wasn't mentioned. Chicago's not even one of the 10 most. Honestly, Chicago's like number 25. Like, it's like, there's like, you got to go like a whole nother 10 before you get to Chicago. So stop it. Stop shitting on my city because it's where Obama's from. It's what all of this is about. Let's shit on a city because we don't like one person who came from there. Let's shit on a city because you're fucking scared to death of that one person who came from there. That's what it is. He scared the shit out of you people. You people started acting. I'm not even a huge Obama fan, but you fucking people, you completely embarrassed yourself with how overboard you went with him. He's just a dude. Just a dude. Remember the tan suit? Remember you guys are, he can't wear a tan suit. Then all you guys ran out and voted for Trump. You fucking hypocrites. You fucking weirdos. Don't worry. I'm taking notes. I'm keeping track and I'm taking notes. I'll remind you in a few years when you do something stupid. I'll bring it back. Remember in 2025 when you thought that Erica Kirk was behaving properly? She's doing porn now. It's 2027. Erica Kirk is the #1 porn star on YouTube or Pornhub, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not a pervert. I don't even think she's that hot. Gotta be honest with you. Speaking of don't even think she's that hot, let's get caught up on our death trilogy. You know, one of my obsessions is death. I am obsessed with it. And so I like when the celebrities die. Well, I don't like when the celebrities die. I'm interested. It piques my interest. I'm like, ooh. And maybe you've noticed over your time on this planet that the celebrities, at least the big ones, they all seem to die in threes. Because they do. I mean, they don't really. It's just you can make it look that way because people die every day. And there's a lot of famous people that die. So here's what the death trilogy is. It's the premise that celebrities die in 3. And I take it one step further. I believe that the 3 celebrities who die within the same trilogy must then spend the rest of eternity together living in a condo on a golf course or whatever they prefer, up there in heaven. So the death trilogy, it's 3 people who got to be roommates for eternity. That's how I like to look at it. And we've had 30, I think it was 30 death trilogies in 2025. I've been, keeping track the whole year. We got to do some accounting here because we've got 2 days left. Will we get another trilogy in 2 days? I don't know. We had, I think, a natural trilogy last week. I think we had 3 celebrities die on the same day, which is, woo. So let's get all caught up. All right. Once again, as we look here at the death trilogies, we are reminded that the very first death trilogy of the 2025 year occurred on January 1st. On January 1st, 2025, the world lost Wayne Osmond. Wayne Osmond was the first one. First celebrity to go in 2025 was one of the Osmond brothers. Not Donnie, not Marie, Wayne. Okay, so we didn't start out the year with like a big one, but he's still Wayne Osmond, and I knew him when I was little. The Osmonds were really forced on us, Gen X. Yeah, they had live variety shows on TV. They had cartoons. Do you know that they made a cartoon show that the first half hour was the Osmonds and the second half hour was the Jacksons, and it was all like 1 hour, and it was on Saturday mornings? I only watched the Jacksons. I didn't really care about the Osmonds one. I thought that one was kind of lame. Even at like 8 years old, I knew that the Jackson 5 were doing much cooler shit than the Osmonds. Anyway, Wayne Osmond, he started it off. Wayne Osmond died on January 1st. He was followed by Peter Yarrow on January 7th. He is, of course, Peter of Peter, Paul, and Mary, Puff the Magic Dragon and whatnot. So Wayne Osmond, a singer, and Peter Yarrow, another singer, were the first 2 of 2025. They were joined on January 10th, 10 days. That's the rule. How do you determine celebrities dying in a trilogy? 10 days of each other. That's the type. If you got 10 days to get 3 people after the first celebrity died. So the first death trilogy of 2025 was Wayne Osmond on the 1st of January, Peter Yarrow on the 7th of January, and then American football coach and Promise Keepers founder Bill McCartney. Bill McCartney on January 10th. So that was good. The first trilogy that we started the year out with was a complete 10-day trilogy. That's good. That was followed on January the 15th by David Lynch, Joan Plowright, and Bob Uecker. That was the second trilogy of the year. And I won't bore you with all 30, but we had quite a year of trilogies. We left off, I think when we came back on, right, when we did our first set of shows here from the Kelly Moore Studios North, I think we recapped, right? And we were at 30. Was it 30 we were at? I don't know. Let's do this one. We'll start with this one just to get us caught up, and I'll bring you to where we are now. That's what getting caught up means. The 29th Death Trilogy, Celebrity Death Trilogy of 2025. The 29th one, December the 14th, Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner started it out, right? He was followed, actually on the same day, December the 14th, Anthony Geary, Luke of Luke and Laura from General Hospital. So we got Rob Reiner, he's a director, and we got an actor. That's pretty good. Got a director and an actor. They're going to spend eternity in this little condo. They were joined on December the 15th by Joe Ely. Joe Ely, great songwriter, part of the Austin, Texas alternative country scene, outlaw country. Joe Ely, there you go. So that was the 29th Death Trilogy of the year. It went between December 14th and December 15th. Rob Reiner, Anthony Geary of General Hospital, and Joe Ely, singer-songwriter, Austin country legend. That was the 29th. All right. How about the 30? I don't know why that happened. Just hit a button and it decided to go all the way. All right, that was 29. Some reason I'm all the way back to the 7th Death Trilogy of the year. All right, Rob Reiner, Anthony Geary, and Joe Ely. How about the 30th Death Trilogy of 2025? The 30th time that 3 celebrities all died within 10 days of each other. The 30th Death Trilogy. Gil Gerard, we talked about him. Buck Rogers, he died on December 16th. Buck Rogers, beady, 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 beady. That was his robot. He had a robot named Tweety. Tweety or Tweaky? Was it Tweety or Tweaky? It was Tweaky. It was Tweaky, right? I think I didn't say Tweaky because I'm like, no, it's not like meth tweaking, but I think it was. I think it was Tweaky. Beady, 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 beady. Hey, Buzz. Beady, beady, beady. That's how he talked. Not Buzz, Buck. Hey, Buck. Beady, beady, beady. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I like Tweaky. I was fucking 7. What do you want from me? I like the robot. Had no idea it was just a midget inside a silver suit. Gil Gerard, star of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, passed away at the age of 77 on December the 16th. He was joined on December the 17th by one of my heroes, one of my journalistic heroes. I remember this guy. I was blown away by this guy. Peter Arnett. Peter Arnett died 91 years old. Peter Arnett was. Peter Arnett was a journalist. Peter Arnett wasn't just a journalist. He was a combat journalist. Peter Arnett made his name in Vietnam, covering combat, covering horrible My Lai massacre, all that shit. He's based in Cambodia. Why we know Peter Arnett? Well, people who knew news and stuff knew who he was long before that. But Peter Arnett, if you remember, Peter Arnett, John Holloman, and Bernard Shaw were the 3 guys that were left behind in Baghdad the night the bombs fell. Do you remember the original Gulf War? Not Gulf War Part 2, not the one we did after 9/11, the one from the early 90s. I believe we called it Desert Storm. I think that was our part of it, but that all began, remember it was Desert Shield? At first it was Desert Shield, and that was when they were just assembling in the desert, the American troops, our troops. We were all assembling. Schwarzkopf, he was in charge. So that was Desert Shield. But then when they started to move, it became Desert Storm. And on the first night of Desert Storm, we lit Baghdad the fuck up. And every other news organization in the world was advised to leave, and they all left. You know who didn't? John Holloman, Peter Arnett, and Bernard Shaw of CNN. They said, fuck that, we're staying. This city's about to get bombed. We're gonna be here and we're gonna cover it. That's journalism. Everybody else was like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. This is scary. We're all gonna ABC, NBC, they're all running for the airport. We gotta get out of here. Not these 3 fucking badasses. These 3 badasses stayed. And on the night that the bombs, our own bombs, the American bombs started dropping on this city, Bernard Shaw John Holloman and the late, great Peter Arnett were there covering it for us. Let's listen to a little bit of that. This is Bombs Over Baghdad. This is that night in 92 or something. Hold on.
I can hear, I imagine, and what we both hear is more of that eerie silence we were talking about before the main drag.
Well, let's go to where they... That's Peter. All right, listen to this. I think this is going to be John Holloman. They had a phone line. All right. So this is John Holloman, or maybe it's Bernard Shaw. I can't tell. I only know Peter Arnett, who died, who we're talking about here. I only know Peter Arnett's voice. By the way, the HBO film, Bombs Over Baghdad, I can't remember who plays Peter Arnett, but he's really funny. Like, he really portrays Arnett as being fearless, like standing in the window to try and get sound. He's holding a microphone out the window of the hotel as bombs are falling all around him. Peter Arnett was a dude. Let's give a little listen to this. Again, this is three CNN correspondents left behind as the bombs began to fall on Baghdad, calling in and reporting live from the scene on CNN. It was amazing television. If you're old enough to remember it, it was one of those things that made me a news junkie. Here it is, the great Peter Arnett.
Go to the window where there has been an attack here in Baghdad in the past 15 or 20 minutes. We'll open the window and let you hear some of the sounds, if there are any, and we'll describe for you what has happened in Baghdad in the past 15 or 20 minutes. Just a second for us to flip the switch. And you have no idea, David French, how nice it is to hear your voice on this remarkable night. Peter, let's tell our viewers what's happened here. You've got a lot of experience with being under attack, of course, from the days in Vietnam and other places.
Well, okay, John, what seemed to have happened about 20 minutes ago, the anti-aircraft weapons in the city center where we are living around the government buildings erupted in fire. There must have been 200 guns firing into the sky. We did not see any aircraft around, but we did hear the alarm sirens. About 2 minutes after that, there were loud explosions, obviously bombing in at least 3 parts of the outskirts of the city. We have no idea what those targets were, but they were in the direction of the airport and some military barracks. John?
All right, Peter, I'm going to go to the window again so our viewers can stay as much in touch with the situation as possible. I've just seen an emergency blue flashing light on a vehicle now on the streets below. You can hear what I can hear, I imagine, and what we both hear is more of that eerie silence we were talking about before this attack began on the main drag of Baghdad. We just saw one vehicle go by. There was a bus that went by about 10 minutes ago.
All right, that's all. We don't. I was hoping we'd hear some bombs and stuff, but I just randomly put. It goes on for like 8 hours. It's like an 8-hour. They're just in this room. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. And I remember I was a kid. How old was I? 22, 23 years old. I was already, doing journalism school. I was so impressed by that. And if you've never seen the HBO film, the HBO Max, it's on HBO Max, I'm sure. The HBO film stars Michael Keaton, and it's not Kate Winslet. It's one of those other English girls who's got Oscars, whose I think name is Kate or Kristen or something. I don't know, whatever. It stars Michael Keaton. It's called Bombs Over Baghdad. It is amazing. It's a film about what we just listened to, what was happening. It's really good. Michael Keaton is so good and everything. Michael Keaton plays the executive producer of CNN, who was there. He wasn't one of the 3 on the air, but he was one of the other guys. All right, there you have it. So that was Peter Arnett. Peter Arnett joins this death trilogy. Peter Arnett died on December the 16th or December the 17th of cancer at 91 years old. One day after Gil Gerard, star of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Greg Biffle, sadly, on December 18th finishes out that trilogy. The 30th death trilogy of 2025 is Gil Gerard, Peter Arnett, and Greg Biffle. I love Biffle. Biffle was a regular. We talked about it. Biffle. All right. 30 complete death trilogies. Do we have room in the tank for a 31st? Yeah, we do, because let's go. On December the 19th, I didn't know this happened, and I am shocked that this happened. Not shocked. I mean, it's not like I spend a lot of time thinking about this person. But when I read this story, I went, oh no. Oh, that sucks. On December the 19th, actor James Ransone killed himself at 46 years old. That name doesn't really mean anything to you, maybe, James Ransone, because he was a that guy actor. James Ransone was one of those dudes that, and he was a younger dude. Well, he's 46 here when he killed himself, but I'm familiar with him as a younger actor, a guy in his 20s. I can tell you that James Ransone, to me, in the few things that I saw him in, stood out as, holy fuck, this guy has Sean Penn level chops. This guy is like one of the best young actors. My God, does he bring characters to life with nuance and body tics? He's the most interesting actor on screen in every scene that he was in. I would have bet the house that he was going to be the new Dustin Hoffman or Robert De Niro. It didn't work out for him because a lot of that shit is just luck. You got I always say this, the greatest opera singer on the planet might be a fucking plumber in Akron, Ohio. He's never gotten the opportunity. He's just never really developed it or anything. But his voice, oh my God. Hey, Tony, sing. You ought to hear Tony sing. It's crazy. Just no training, but right there, the talent, the best. People who get to be in the world of art and entertainment, people who get to be considered the best or the elite or the top tier, luck has a lot to do with it. There's a lot left on the floor. There are a lot, especially in the world of acting, there are a lot of just incredibly talented people who are better than Brando, who are better than De Niro, who you don't know, who you don't fucking know, because they never got the break. They did a few things and they stood out, but they never, for whatever reason, they never got the break. They chose the wrong movie. They had two movies in front of them. One of them became a massive hit. And the other one, the one they chose, was totally forgotten. See, I mean, it's luck. It has to do with luck. So I want to show you a little James Ransone. Who do you know who is James Ransone? Well, I mentioned The Wire earlier. He was on The Wire. That's where I first noticed him. I noticed him on The Wire. He played Ziggy Zabotta. It was the season where it was based, I think it was season 2 of The Wire, that was based around the dock worker corruption in the city of Baltimore. His dad was Frank. Frank Zabotta was the corrupt union official who ran the Baltimore docks. And his son, his little dirtbag son, who really didn't have the talent that the dad had to control people, but he felt that, I'm the prince. My dad's important. That's who Ziggy was. That's the character that James Ransone played. I want to play you a little bit of Ziggy. Ziggy got himself backed into a corner in The Wire, you may remember if you watched The Wire, and he murdered a guy. He murdered a Greek gangster. Ziggy was a car thief. He stole cars from the docks. Remember, his dad is the union guy who runs the docks. His dad was a corrupt union guy. His dad was involved in organized crime, and shit disappeared on the docks. Well, the son, Ziggy, without getting permission from his dad, Frank, stole some Mercedes off the docks there in Baltimore and sold them to the Greek mafia. The Greek mafioso guy treated Ziggy like a bitch. And so Ziggy responded by murdering him. Because Ziggy was like, nobody respects me. And he murdered the mafia guy. So I'm going to show you a scene between the late, great James Ransone, 46 years old, and his father. His father plays Frank. Ziggy is in jail. He's in prison. And his dad comes in to talk to him. He's just been charged with the murder of the Greek gangster. And this is James Ransone. This guy is a fucking amazing
It was
actor.
so easy to switch.
Let me show you this. I mean, this is chops right
My
here.
previous car insurance was hiking up our rates, and that's what brought me to Allstate.
All right. Let me also tell you, I don't know if you've ever seen the HBO miniseries Generation Kill. Generation Kill is an incredible miniseries that HBO made probably 10, 15 years ago about what we were just listening to with Peter Arnett, about Desert Storm, about the first Generation Kill was about the first wave of the United States military to go into Iraq. That's what Generation Kill is about. James Ransone was the star, one of the stars of that. Certainly one of the guys that stood out. Anyway, here he is, a terrific actor. He died. He killed himself. Never got the big break. But just watch this guy's acting chops. James Ransone as Ziggy Sabota from The Wire.
Say cops did that to you.
The cops.
Lawyers are saying the bail may be tough. I'm trying. You know I'm trying, right? What happened?
I don't know. I got tired. Got tired of being a punchline to every joke.
You had problems, you could have come to me. Could have said something.
You wouldn't have heard. You were always too busy dredging up a canal. Making sure the right bum got elected. Buying another round for the house. I always used to think you were working all them hours you spent away.
It was all work, Zig, even when it wasn't. For you and your mother.
I bet you didn't even tell her I was in here, did you? Maybe you did. And Shawty took 3 Nebutol, sleeping a day away.
Leave her out of this.
She's out of it, don't worry. Pop. What I seen what I did to that kid down at the store made me sick to my stomach.
That ain't you, Zig.
It ain't. 'Cause the same blood don't flow for us, Pop. I mean, I wish it did, but it don't.
You're more like me than you know. You're Sabaka.
Fucked is what I am. What can I say?
There you have it. It's James Ransone killed himself last week. Terrific actor. He was a terrific young actor. That was obviously 20 years ago. But, it didn't work out for him. He's obviously a guy who was dealing with depression. But I can tell you, I promise you, James Ransone was an amazing actor. There's so many forgettable characters and everything. But when one stands out like that, Ziggy Sabaka from The Wire, and also, I forget the character he played in Generation Kill, but Generation Kill is so good, and he'll pop out immediately. You'll be like, oh, that's the coolest character in there. Yep, that's James Ransone. He started out the 31st Death Trilogy. He died on December the 19th. Again, it says here, what is he in? It says James Ransone, 46, American actor, The Wire. I know him from that. It says It Chapter 2. All right, I've never seen that. And The Black Phone. I've never seen that either. I just know him from The Wire. And I know him. He also was in what's that called? Well, never mind. Doesn't matter. All right, there you go. That's our first. We've got 31 Death Trilogies working here in the year 2025. We've got 30 complete. We are right now on the 29th day. We are one guy in to our next Death Trilogy. And will it be the last one of 2025? I don't know, because we got another one, because Brigitte Bardot died yesterday. Joining James Ransone in the Death trilogy condo in the sky is Brigitte Bardot, 91 years old, French actress. Name a Brigitte Bardot movie. Go. You can't. You can't because she's hype. She's not like even a real thing. Brigitte Bardot was the most beautiful. Brigitte Bardot was mid at best. Let's look at some pictures of Brigitte Bardot, who old people will tell you she's the most. Same people who tell you that Marilyn Monroe was fucking drop dead gorgeous. Marilyn Monroe, also very mid, very pretty much nothing so special about Marilyn Monroe. At least not by today's standards. All right, let me show you this. Here you go. We'll go through some. Let's look at Brigitte Bardot. I think she's very overrated. Okay, what is Brigitte Bardot? Again, I don't like to live in the world of absolutes. Brigitte Bardot's hot. She's a hot chick, man. There ain't no denying it. Look at her, Brigitte Bardot. But she ain't the fucking end-all, be-all. I go to a mall. I can go to a mall anywhere in America. Well, probably not now because malls don't exist. But back in the day, I go to a mall. I will find you someone who's prettier than Brigitte Bardot. You know why? You know why the person at the mall isn't going to be on the level of Brigitte Bardot? Because Brigitte Bardot was gatekept. She was gatekept, just like Marilyn Monroe. There was about 10 people back then who had the power to place a single individual on a pedestal so that the whole rest of the world could go, oh, look at how pretty that one is. That's what this is. We were told. She was marketed to American audiences as this French ingenue and the most beautiful woman alive. We hear that with Sophia Loren. We hear that with Marilyn Monroe. We hear that with Brigitte Bardot. And I'm here to tell you that all three of those, with the exception of Sophia Loren, Sophia Loren really was hot. Sophia Loren is hot by any style, I think, in any era. But Brigitte Bardot, look, I'm famous for being like, Marilyn Monroe's a fat chick. That's what Marilyn Monroe is. Hey, fat chick. She's pretty for a fat chick, but that's what she is. Luckily, I happen to, be attracted to heavy-set women, but that's neither here nor there. My point is this. Marilyn Monroe is overrated. Brigitte Bardot is certainly overrated. Look at her right there. That's a pretty girl. That's a pretty girl standing at a beer tub at any bar in a major city on Saturday night. There's nothing special about Brigitte Bardot. Oh, well, we get old. We get older. All right, let's keep going. All right, cute hippie chick, but I can find a picture of Stevie Nicks that is similar, and you'll be like, Stevie Nicks is cuter. Stevie Nicks is definitely cuter than that. Pretty? She's pretty? Again, we get older. It's not her fault. Yeah, anyway, there you have it. Look, she's got a space in her teeth. She's got bad teeth. She's not fucking... All right, anyway. Brigitte Bardot, I don't know if she's even a talented actress. I don't know. I think she was maybe just sleeping with an old man who had power, and he went, I'm going to turn you into the sexiest woman on the... Is that it? Because, I don't know, I just think way overrated. Brigitte Bardot, didn't she exist in the same ecosystem as... like Audrey Hepburn, who is like undeniably gorgeous, like timeless beauty? Did she exist in the same celebrity environment as Raquel Welch, who is like way better than Brigitte Bardot? I don't get it. Flintstones talked about Brigitte Bardot. Fred liked her. He mentioned her. I don't know. I think she's overrated. Anyway, there you go. Brigitte Bardot. She died yesterday, the 27th day of January. She gets us 2/3 into our 31st death trilogy of the year. We've got James Ransone, died on the 19th. He's joined by Brigitte Bardot, dead on the 27th. We've got 2 more days. Will we get a complete trilogy before the clock strikes midnight? All right, we'll see. If another celebrity dies, I think probably. I think we'll probably get one. If not, that would suck. I do not want, because here's the rule. This just becomes an incomplete 2025 death trilogy, because it's not like we add the first death of 2026 to this one to finish this. No, we start new. So right now, 30 complete death trilogies. Working on the 31st. Yeah, Mike's like, for that day she was. And I'm like, what do you mean for that day? What do you mean for that day? For that day she was... What do you know about that day, Mikey D? There were fucking hot chicks everywhere back then. It's not like people were uglier back then. No, it's just that you were selected to represent the most beautiful. You were selected to be the singer that we all think is the best. You were selected back in the gatekeeping era. See, look, we don't have the gatekeeping era anymore, which is why we have all of these fucking reality stars and why we have all of these influencers and all of this nonsense. I do this thing with my son. My son and I, we watch football a lot. And a lot of, the commercials during NFL football games are the premium commercials. They're expensive commercials. It's not cheap to advertise during NFL football because you've got a big guaranteed audience. So the commercials are always a good representation of what's happening. Hold on, guys. And have you seen the commercial with what's her name? The chick from the hot chick from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's her and Jeff Bridges and some black guy with uniquely colored hair, and he's like in the middle, and I'm like, okay. I do this to my kid. I go, tell me why I'm supposed to know who that is. Like all the time, like sports commercials, they'll have like, he's a wide receiver for Jacksonville, and he's like acting in the commercial like I'm supposed to know who that is. I'm like, who the fuck is that? These guys wear helmets for a living. I don't recognize him. But anyway, there's that commercial with Jeff Bridges. Can't think of her name. The hot chick, the hot Mexican chick. All right, I know she's probably not Mexican, but I'm a white guy. So if you're, Latino, it's all Mexican to me. All right, so what is her name? It's not Rosario Dawson. It's the other one. She's good. She just won some awards. Come on, Zoe Saldana. Thank you, Maddie, for being the only fucking person in the chat room who can pick me up on these things. All right, thank you, Maddie. Yeah, so there's a commercial out with Jeff Bridges, Zoe Saldana, and then like some black guy. And I'm sitting there watching it with my kid. I'm like, tell me why I'm supposed to know who that is. And my kid goes, that's Drewski. He's like the biggest comedian on the internet. I'm like, oh, is he? I go, that's fucking Jeff Bridges. He's one of the most iconic actors of the 1970s and 80s. And my kid's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, well, I don't know who yours is. That's the world we live in. We both knew who Zoe Saldana was, though, because we're heterosexual men and she's pretty attractive and we both like Guardians of the Galaxy. It were the other two that we had problems with. Tell me why I'm supposed to know who that is. Scandals in 2025. Nope, not going to do it. Don't want to do it. We've been on the air now for like almost 3 hours. I don't want to do that. It's too heavy. It's too... I get triggered and then I start to rant. It'll just be nothing with that. So we'll do that tomorrow, or not tomorrow. We're not doing a show tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to take a day off. I'm having a day with the boy. We're going to run around. Maybe no. I was going to say maybe we'll make some videos. But if you remember the story from earlier in the show where I tried to get a picture of my son in front of the Michael Jordan statue at the United Center, and it turned into a whole thing because apparently wanting to document these precious moments between father and son, apparently that's gay. My terminology, not his. Apparently that's not cool. Apparently that's it's lame. So I would like to say that I'll document tomorrow's little trip as we go running around doing all kinds of things in 10-degree weather, but probably not because teenagers are, what are you taking a picture for? What do you mean? Your whole life is like on your camera and taking pictures and snaps. And all of a sudden I'm trying to take a picture so that when I'm old and decrepit in an old folks home and you haven't called me in months, I can look at these pictures and be reminded of better times. Is that the problem that you're having with me? Hold on. Just got a text. And I'm speaking at a level. Okay. He's in the next room, so I'm wondering if he's listening to me because he gets mad when I talk about it. All right, let's wrap this show up today. Let's do a couple of videos. I got some videos here that I saw over the weekend that I wanted to share with you. First of all, there's a new movie coming out, and when I say coming out, I mean, I don't know, like 2 years from now. It's like not coming out until I think it's when? Is it? This is Thanksgiving of next year, okay? So they're making a movie about the life of John Madden, which I think is great. I think this is a really interesting story that I would like to see. Here's the thing. I think John Madden is the most important person in the history of the National Football League. I know you think, what are you, nuts? You're a Chicago Bears fan. How are you saying it's not George Halas or some combination of the early guys who actually made the NFL stick? No, it's John Madden. John Madden has done more for the NFL globally than anybody ever has. And all he did was reluctantly agree to lend his name to a video game that went on to become Madden and became like the default sports video game in the world. People who don't even watch NFL football in Zimbabwe play Madden on their video consoles. It's how the world has come to understand the sport of football. And it's probably no different. I'm sure that there are a lot of kids in America and stuff who didn't know anything about Premier League soccer until they started playing the Premier League version of Madden. But anyway, I do believe that because of that, like my son is 16 years old. He's a football fanatic. He has no fucking idea who John Madden was. I mean, no firsthand. He knows because he's smart and he knows the history of things. But he never listened to Madden in Summerall. He's heard clips, right? He doesn't remember John Madden was a coach. He doesn't remember John Madden on the sidelines with the Oakland Raiders. John Madden smoking a cigarette on the sideline. That I love it. The 70s. Football coaches just out there ripping butts. Big fat fucking John Madden. He's probably had like 10 steaks in the last 2 days. 4 packs of cigarettes. He's just fucking... Anyway, Madden was cool. So they're making a movie about the life of John Madden, and it stars Nicolas Cage as John Madden. I want you to watch this trailer, and then we're going to discuss it because I have some thoughts. By the way, what we're looking at right here, this is Christian Bale as Al Davis. I think he looks great. Bale is an actor. This dude, I bet Bale is going to crush as Al Davis. Anyway, here we go. Here's the trailer for the new Madden movie.
There's only one John Madden. They didn't make another one. He is one of a kind. Football wouldn't be football without him.
I have no idea where we are, who we are, where we're coming from, or who we're throwing to.
Is that distracting? I just wanted to freeze it right there. I'm sorry. I guess maybe I'm of the age where John Madden and who John Madden is too burned into my skull. I know who he is. And the same goes for Nicolas Cage. Like Nicolas Cage and John Madden are both very well defined in my mind, and they're not the same thing. And here I am looking at this weird sort of mashup. It's odd. Anyway, Nicolas Cage is an amazing actor. So he is totally going to be able to pull it off. Who the fuck is this guy as Summerall? Who's this guy? I don't know. All right. Anyway, let's watch.
Without him.
I have no idea where we are, who we are, where we're coming from, or who we're throwing to.
Very interesting.
There you go. First look. We got to wait. David O. Russell's no film. We have to wait forever. I think, what did it say? Thanksgiving of next year for that. David O. Russell, by the way, American Hustle, right? American Hustle, Silver Linings. Come on, you know how I love the Silver Linings. Oh, God, it's one of my favorite movies. So here we go again. David Russell's going back into football. Yeah, people don't realize it. Silver Linings Playbook is about football. Silver Linings Playbook is about being obsessed with the Philadelphia Eagles and all of that. Anyway, I love Silver Linings Playbook. All right, that's the Madden movie. We'll bring that back, I'm sure, next Thanksgiving when we get closer to its release. Here's something cool. I saw this. I thought this was cool. You know, I'm rewatching The Sopranos. I'm re-binging. Every couple of years, I like to, just restart The Sopranos and kind of, just refresh my memory. So anyway, just a couple of weeks ago, I got to the episode of The Sopranos where AJ and his buddies, they break into the school and they party in the indoor swimming pool at their school, and all their friends are hanging out. They're all drinking and smoking like bad teenagers, and they vandalize the whole school. Anyway, famously, one of the girls that is with them sitting in the bleachers, hanging out with AJ and his friends while they do this, is a young Lady Gaga. Yeah. Stephanie Germano, I believe is her real name. She was an actress back then. She was an actress, and she played one of the chicks that were in AJ's running group of friends. Whenever you saw AJ and his friends, Lady Gaga was there. Anyway, we all know, of course, now that Lady Gaga has become an icon of pop music, one of the biggies. How about this cool ass video? Check this out. This is around the time. This is 19-year-old Lady Gaga playing. I think it's The Bitter End in New York. She's just a hack. This is why, man. Hold on, we'll show you this. This is why, you go to these places and you see two people on stage. You're like, oh, they're garbage because they ain't famous. No, bro. No, you got to give everybody a shot. You could have sat there, walked into The Bitter End. In what year is this? I don't know. Probably 2012 or something. Could have walked in and you would have seen a young Lady Gaga. You'd probably have been like, man, that girl is good. So here is Stephanie Germano, a young Lady Gaga, doing like an open mic singing thing. Apparently this is her version of, she's doing a Zeppelin song.
Do you guys like reggae? I hope you like reggae. Do you like Led Zeppelin? Let's do it, guys. He loves them all more than you do.
I'm getting the feeling that whoever recorded this assumed that this guitar player was the one who was going to be famous. Let's make sure we get him. He's so good at guitar. What about the girl singing? Yeah, no, don't worry about her. Let's just focus on the dude playing guitar. I will say this. He's playing this very nice. He's very clean. You hear these different note changes and picks and all that. He's pretty nice. Now, that shouldn't come as any shock, because if you know the story of Lady Gaga, she's a musical, what do they call it? She was playing fucking classical concerts at 6 years old. What do they call it? A prodigy. She's a prodigy who went to Juilliard, and these are probably all fucking Juilliard trained musicians. So. Okay, maybe focus on the chick a little. There we go. You know what? I gotta be honest with you. 20-year-old video or whatever that is, the sound quality isn't good. Anyway, that's pretty fun. Just wanted to show you a little 19-year-old Lady Gaga. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's got to jump up on a stage during an open mic night and wait for their name to be called to get your big break. Not everybody goes on to be Lady fucking Gaga, but there you have it. Everybody started somewhere. Here's the last one I want to show. I was gonna use this. We were gonna go through all the scandals. Remember, I was gonna like tag the little scandal segment with this. But this is funny. This is a cartoon, and I wanted to show this with you. Hold on.
Response to these.
Hold on, because this is the world we live in now, guys, and we just need to accept it, because everything is a construct, and just because you'll see what I'm talking about here. It's the world we live in. All right, here you go. Press conference. Let's watch this.
Does the White House have a response to these new Epstein emails that show that Trump...
yeah, he did it.
Who? Trump did it.
Did what?
He did everything you guys are thinking he did. He and Epstein, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're not denying it?
Nah, fuck it. And also we killed Epstein to keep him quiet about this whole thing. which was obviously a waste of time, but you know,
Hindsight's 2020.
hindsight's 2020. Wow, I didn't think you'd come out and just... Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we're so excited to announce that Trump is going to pardon 5 turkeys this year instead of just one.
But we were just...
This is a kind of joke because he's been doing so much pardoning of like criminals.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
funny. That's
turkeys are funny.
Just move on from
Funniest
this bird.
This Epstein thing.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen with that, trust. But this is above and beyond. Nah, it's not. It's not. But the Democrats, they might... No, they won't. Look, our people are still going to support us no matter what happens, and the Democrats, look at me, and the Democrats are still just going to do infighting about how the progressives aren't trying to understand where the right is coming from enough, and everything's going to go back to normal. So just don't worry about it, you know? Let's just talk turkey. It's better that way. Let's all just talk turkey. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's talk turkey. Also, Trump might have gone down on Bill Clinton. Turkey.
All right, there you go. That's pretty much where we are. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did it all. What are you gonna do about it? Nobody fucking cares. Have you seen our stadiums? These fucking idiots will support us no matter what. Yeah, we did it all. What do you got for us? What do you got for us? That's where we live. That is what we've created for ourselves. No, Al, you, my friend, you are awesome. Thank you, Adam. Adam says that Joel Murray, the littlest brother of the many, many, many Murray brothers, the littlest brother is Joel Murray the littlest? I think he is. Joel Murray is who's playing Pat Summerall in the John Madden movie. That's cool. Maddie also points out that my boy Shane Gillis is in it. Yes, he is. I think he's playing the role of a crazy Las Vegas Raiders fan. I don't know. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Help out the show if you can. You can drop a little something in either Cash App or the Venmo. That would be greatly appreciated. It certainly does go to a good cause, that cause being your boy. So help out if you can. And we're not going to do a show tomorrow. No show tomorrow. And I'm sorry for that. I am desperately sorry for that. But we will do a show on Wednesday. And that's that with that. I guess we're good. Are you good? I'm good. You guys are fun. I missed you. It was a couple of days off. I was like, there was so much stuff over the weekend. I'm like, I wish I could go on. Yeah, but I didn't. I waited till today. All right. See you Wednesday. All right. Be cool with everybody. Don't be a dick, right? We're going to try and be nice. I know it's hard. I'm a dick. I'm a dick to people. It's a struggle. All right, see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. I'm Pugs, and this has been, what do we call it, the Rant? Why do I feel like I need a sign-off? I've never in the past ever needed a sign-off.